All right, everyone. How's it going? Welcome. No preamble tonight because I don't have things properly set up. We're using a StreamYard for this. So how you guys doing? Welcome to Nintendo Prime Live, or as I guess I'm calling it, a little bit of a member cast. We're gonna be talking a bunch of Zelda tonight between obviously me, Joycie, and AndresRestart, one of our special guests. Joycie's gonna kind of lead
I'm
things
so
in.
huge.
Yeah, that's how we do it. I like to fill the screen. All right. I mean, look, I can make us small. We could be like, hi, but I don't like that. I don't like
Well,
that.
if you do that, then you're gonna actually reveal my whiteboard.
Oh, I want to see your ideas. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, the thing is,
See, that looks better.
I angled my camera, so
Joycie just wants to lean
fit in this.
That's what she
Well,
wants.
that's fine. Nope. To be honest with you, I probably gotta wipe that I gotta wipe that board because those ideas I'm probably not gonna use.
Oh yeah,
maybe one or two.
Yeah, I've got only one idea on my board right now. Anyways, guys, here's what's going to happen tonight. We're going to be talking a lot of Zelda. No matter what, you'll have us three talking Zelda, no matter what happens.
Wait, Zelda?
Zelda,
I thought we were talking about Metroid today.
Yeah,
I thought we were talking about Mario.
This is a Metroid day.
Look, I didn't organize any of this, so don't look at me.
Technically, I didn't either.
Metroid, Mario, and Zelda are all linked.
Oh, there it is.
Let's go back to the NES era.
Oh, here's the deal. This is a special show where you guys can actually get in on the show if you want. So you have to be a member of the channel, and you have to get a hold of Joycie J either through Twitter and or Discord DMs. We have a link to our Discord down below, also a link to Joycie's Twitter as well. I'm presuming her DMs are open on Twitter to get it. Yes. And she will pre-screen you and then hand you the link to get in. And we're just going to kind of add people in. We'll base the time on how many people we have waiting to get in. Like if there's like 20 people that are trying to get in, well then, okay, we're going to have to pretty strict with the time. If we only have a few people, then we can be a bit more lenient with that as well. I know we already have like one or two people already that are going to be coming in that have already pre-talked about coming on. So
that's
we'll see.
Awesome. I didn't know we were going to do that. So it's like a radio show, except now just like one person.
We're kind of like a radio show. Yeah, I gave Andres no instructions. I just said, "Hey, we're doing this Zelda thing on the 18th. Are you in?" And he's like, "Yes." That was like pretty much the extent of the conversation.
Andre, if you actually looked at my DMs, I really quickly shot you what we might talk about, but of course, chat's going to help us out.
Was it on Discord or Twitter? Or?
Discount. Good Lord.
Discount. I don't use
Discord. One of them things.
You know what it is?
And
okay, yeah,
I want to know
it's because you blocked me. I know.
I want to
block you. I don't. You sent it while I was streaming. I didn't see it.
It's okay. I'm teasing you.
I will be still doing shots for super chats, so it's totally like a normal stream like that. We'll also still feature every single super chat and answer the super chats in the stream. I presume it's going to be a lot of Zelda super chats, but some of you guys make things a little weird. It is what it is. If YouTube allows it to go through, I guess I got to deal with it. So YouTube blocks certain things in super chats, but not enough, in my opinion.
My block finger is still working, just so y'all know.
Anyways, we already have a super chat right off the bat, so I can do a shot right away, which is pretty sweet. From Mackerel. Says, will the Zelda movie be original or based off a game? I would find it interesting if Nintendo didn't do Ocarina of Time. They went with such a game as Zelda 2 for the story, I'm guessing.
All right, Andre, you want to take it or you want me to take that one?
Sure. So will the Zelda movie be original or based off of a game? I would find it interesting that Nintendo didn't do Ocarina of Time and went with a game such as Zelda 2. So my perspective is just by the way, is that profile for like Oda from One Piece, or is it something else? Anyway, sorry. That's the ADHD kicking in. But yeah, I don't think it's gonna be based off any particular game. I think it's probably just gonna be its own thing. The same way the Mario movie was its own thing. I think that's probably the best way to go about it, because the moment they pick a specific Zelda game and try to model the movie off of that, you're running into a few issues. One, the plot's already out there, so spoilers already exist, right? But also two, trying to it becomes even more challenging to tell the story of a Zelda game in a movie format when it was a game and not a movie, right? So there's challenges there. Part of the reason why a lot of video game to movie adaptations don't work well, because you're trying to adapt something that was never constructed to be a movie in the first place. What I think makes the most sense is that, very similar to the horror movie, it's going to be more of like an amalgamation of different Zelda ideas put into the right context for what would be a good movie. So it'll appeal to the Zelda fan base. It will feel Zelda because it will be Zelda, but it will be done in the format of a movie from the base, from its foundation, and not like being adapted from something else.
What him said.
That's very answer. I like it. I don't have to say
totally agree. I totally agree. I think it's going to be original. Now, what I do wonder is if it's going to, what I hope is that it'll still have the soul of Zelda, and I believe it will. We're still going to have a Link. We're going to have a Zelda. I believe there's going to be a Master Sword. If the villain is Ganon or not, that's kind of the biggie question there. Sure. I don't think they have to. I think it's safe, but I don't think they necessarily have to. But we have to have a Link. We have to have a Zelda.
I'm going to venture to guess that there 100% will be Ganon. Like that's
I'm
like
99.
not, to me, it's like not having Bowser in a Mario movie.
That's a very good point. But then again, one of the things I like about Zelda is that there's so much we can sink our teeth into surrounding lore and everything else. They can do the Twilight Princess, the Link to the Past, all these different things they've done before, where you have the one bad guy who's following you around. Or you have a main problem with the Link to the Past. It was Aghanim, Twilight Princess.
Yeah, and so like they can have another villain, right? But it's going to be.
And then Ganon makes the appearance.
Right, he's the background. He's the background villain, right? And but he's going to be related to the movie, and so it's interesting because like we don't know what they're going to do. Maybe there's going to be a series of movies. If there's going to be a series of movies and it's planned from the get go, then that may impact how they tell the story, right? But to speak to at least to the point of like people wanting maybe the story being related to one Zelda game or another, like the Mario movie, there's going to be a whole bunch of references and cameos to speak to a whole bunch of different Zelda games, right? Like there might be a town called Raru Town from Zelda 2, for example, right? You're gonna have the Temple of Time at some point, these things are gonna happen. Maybe there's a guy that's named Yanubo, right? To speak to the Gorons, like they're gonna find ways to remind us of different Zelda games throughout its history, but it's gonna be its own thing.
Or maybe we'll get a side random story about what happened to Cass.
Cass.
I need somebody to explain to me what happened to Cass.
He went to the movie world. That's what happened. He fell in a hole.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened.
Hole. Jeez.
Down the hole.
I remember making a video on it a while ago. I don't even remember what I came up with, but I almost wonder if Cass just like died, because people died during the upheaval. Like that's
true.
There are adults that are just missing. Like when you go, what?
I wish the game would have just told me if he died.
Yeah, exactly. Or hinted at least toward it or something.
Maybe they just don't know. Maybe he died. Just people that don't know.
Maybe. Or I mean, he's MIA.
Or maybe
a lot of adults went out trying to solve stuff,
or maybe he went out for a pack of cigarettes and just never came back.
The other thing though is I think there are certain details that kind of hint that the world of Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom is actually larger than we think. So like what's her name, Yona, right? Like I've already been so much time since I played Tears of the Kingdom, started to forget like certain details, but it's a Yona, right? The fiance for our guy Sidon. Yeah, it's Sidon. It's Sidon. Sidon is my butcher. That's me butchering it. It's Sidon, right?
Sounds a little more suave.
Sidon. Yeah, Sidon. Right? But yeah, and she comes from a different Zora's area that's not at all in anything we explore in Hyrule, and so there's this implication that there are areas beyond what we can explore, and so, given that Cass is a bird who can fly, like there's so many places he could have gone, or to Taker's point, he got stuck in an invisible wall. So we just got to do a lot of sequence breaking and just boundary breaking, and eventually we might run into casts like underground Hyrule.
Ice cold beer, I love it.
I
It would
have
be
hot
casting
coffee.
an invisible wall trying to fly.
The next time Game Informer has an interview with AJ Aonuma, they have to ask what happened to Cass.
That would be very nice if they did that.
Yeah.
Like legit would be sweet.
Hey Nate,
Yes.
we have somebody who would like to call in and chat about
Hell yeah.
what if anything. You know, I'm gonna let them introduce it. We got Patrick K. And this is the part I kind of forgot to ask you. How do they should they call you or should they call me on Discord? I'm assuming you.
You can just send the link right to this.
Send them the link?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
If she copies and pastes her link, she can just
Yep.
send it.
Yeah. The link I sent you to get in originally is the same link.
By the
Okay.
way, I think I already got confirmation earlier. I was going to ask you.
And by the way, you guys don't have to come in with video if you don't want. It could be audio only. It's all up to you guys.
Yeah.
And you
don't have to brush your hair.
Phone. It's all up to you guys for the call-ins. And yes,
what were you gonna say, Andre? Because we kind of just jumped over.
It wasn't important to the discussion. I was just gonna ask if it looked like my raid worked or not. I think it did.
It did.
Yeah, it did.
We jumped from we had like 50 waiting, and it jumped to 100 waiting after your raid.
Sick.
Yeah. And I always try to encourage everyone, like if you're a content creator, turn that ability on your channel. Like I want to raid other channels, and I can literally only raid like Andres because like, other people don't have that turned on to do.
Yeah,
it kind of sucks. It's just not auto turned.
It's not advertised, and it's you have to kind of dig through to find the feature.
I told you about it, wasn't it?
Yeah. If it wasn't free, I wouldn't be able to do it.
Yeah,
I wouldn't have even known it was an option. So
yeah, I just trying to talk about it.
Yeah.
All right, I'm working with our buddy over here, so please continue.
Turn off. Where are you?
I was wondering what that was a little bit earlier.
Hold on, where is it? Oh, there it is. I got it. Sorry, I'm trying to get the background music to work, and I had to compress the file because there's limited file size. But I got it. I figured it out. We're gonna be all right. I think. All right. Well, what do you want to talk about till this person gets in?
There's so much we can talk about. It's kind of tough.
Sorry, I'm also like trying to.
I know you're trying to do everything you want.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, super chat we can hop to quick. Hold on. Big one. We got a big one in here from Nikki Short. $20. Hey, thank you so much for the 20. I appreciate that. What an amazing stream idea. Have to work, but I wanted the support. Awesome. Yeah, like this is a new thing. It'll probably be smoother if we ever do it again. But if it goes really well, this is the thing. Like I want to offer this as a member perk. And it was totally all Joycie J's idea. So I'm giving her complete 1000% credit for this. But if it goes well, I'd like to do this again. It doesn't have to be Zelda. It could be a Metroid next time. It could be Mario next time. You know, we could pick individual topics and just see how well this goes. I want to offer this as a perk for our members because I do appreciate that you guys literally. I mean, look, I'm a full-time YouTuber. You guys help pay my bills. So thank you. I appreciate it.
I'm curious how this works because I've tried doing call-ins before, but I always just do like one person, right? It would be neat to kind of see how you guys do it because maybe in the future, I'll just basically straight up copy you.
You could call it an intimate discussion with Andres.
Yeah, there's technically this software has a better way to do it. They have a green room, it's called, where you can pre-screen. Yeah, like I could just make
on StreamYard.
Yes, but I have to upgrade my membership to do it, and I'm debating on. I know it's already expensive, so I was debating on trying it just once to see how cool it is because I like the idea of like instead of having Joycie have to go to DMs all the time, I could literally just be like all members go to this member only area. I could do a member only community post, click the link, you can get queued up, and we can literally pre-screen all of you right here. But that would be the most convenient, easiest way to do it. But it gets expensive. This already isn't that cheap per month, although you get some pretty neat features. It's very convenient in many ways.
I'm paying for the cheapest tier. Yeah,
I'm not.
But the thing is, you're not even paying for the most expensive tier, and you're paying more than I am.
Yeah,
that's all right. Money grabbing.
And no, but the software, like this software, provides things that is just convenient. So I like it. And that's one thing that is convenient. A green screen, because literally they created the green screen thing because they knew people want to do call-in shows. It's literally specifically for call-ins. It's awesome. I've seen it in action on a bit much bigger channel that uses the software, and I was like, damn, dude, that looks really convenient.
Well,
here we go.
Pay bigger bills. Maybe I'll do the upgrade.
Here we go. We got Pat Goon ready?
Yes.
Let's go.
Let's go. He's got his Zelda shirt on and everything.
Nice.
Do it.
Hey guys, can you hear me?
Hey.
Nice.
I love the blur in the background and everything. Let's
Pat?
go.
Of course. So to introduce myself, my name is Patrick, Pat Goon. You've seen me in the chat maybe. Huge Zelda fan. You see I got the shirt. I got the Zelda OLED. This is my prized possession. I love this thing. Playing Link to the Past. I don't know if you can tell.
We kind of match.
Oh, nice. I'm actually going to beat the game tomorrow at the final
I didn't even
boss.
put my Zelda hat on. What's wrong with me?
Oh, actually, speaking of Zelda,
sit in the corner,
I got Link's hat here.
Oh,
what?
It's actually from an old costume, so it doesn't fit very well. So I can't.
Is that Twilight Princess one?
It's just like general, just green.
Okay. I
had one once.
It looks a little Twilight Princess.
Yeah, the one.
Yeah, it's definitely like the color-ish, darker color. Yeah. But I also got 3D printed Master Swords here.
Oh,
Gel.
Oh, yo.
I'm so
sick.
This one's
gel.
the Decayed Master Sword.
Oh,
Nice.
yo, that is awesome.
Thank you. So my question was, what, if anything, would you add to this like open air style of Zelda game from the older games?
Ooh.
Can I have this one?
Yes.
Sure.
Okay. I have this wild idea. You've heard me say this, Pat. You see me in the chat a million times. My favorite game is A Link to the Past.
Mm-hmm.
One of my favorite dungeons in A Link to the Past. There's not a bad one in there, but one of my favorite ones is in the forest, where you have to go underground and it brings you to different places in the entire place. And my wild idea in a huge open world, one of the best things I think they could do is we have these. I like the Divine Beast. I like the Tears of the Kingdom dungeons better, but I want those really big, insane dungeons. Like you don't know you're in a dungeon sometimes. Best example, Twilight Princess, Snow Peak Ruins. You don't even know you're in a dungeon until it's like, wait a minute. Wait.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get a map and then it's like, oh, I'm in a dungeon. And then you have this big area somewhere, I don't know, in the desert. Probably the desert if it's Ganon. If Ganon's the villain, that would make sense. And you have to go and unlock certain areas. You have to go underground in certain areas. And then you can't access the main area until you've completed all the crazy, big, insane dungeons all around the world that may or may not have a specific theme. Maybe there is no theme. Maybe you have a forest dungeon, a forest style greenery dungeon, but it's in, it's in Rito Village for some reason. You have it doesn't have to have Earth, Wind, and Fire. Shout out to the band. But it doesn't have to have Earth, Wind, and Fire. It could be something completely different. That was one of the reasons I like Snow Peak Ruins. That was one of the reasons I like that I like that dungeon in A Link to the Past, because it's very, very different. So I think Nintendo really needs to let go of their inner inhibitions, if you will, and just go dungeon crazy. Because really that's one of the big things about Zelda. We like exploration. We like all that little stuff. We love the lore. Yeah, but let's be honest, y'all. We play for the dungeons. Yeah. So that's what I would really like to see them go nuts. And I mean, I want a big dungeons. I like the shrines. Those are cute, but I want dungeons.
I'd rather 5 or 6 solid dungeons than 120 shrines.
I want 10 dungeons. Give me 10.
Well, yeah, 10. I mean,
10 big ones.
That'd be great.
Twilight Princess, wasn't it? Yeah.
No,
I think it was 10 total if you include the castle.
Oh,
yeah. A Link to the Past has 10 or 11.
Link to the Past has 10.
But then some of them, some of the.
Doesn't Twilight
no, you're right, 11.
Yeah, because of the tower.
Interesting. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I feel similar, right? I do agree with the direction they've gone with Zelda, where they focused on adventure and really expanding on that. But I also, as a longtime Zelda fan, I do think there are things they got to bring in, right? And I do also I look at Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, and I feel like they've started to bring in some of those elements, right? In terms of dungeons, I do think they're moving in that direction, right? The dungeons that they did have they fit within the open world as opposed to be segment. Like, you know, in Breath of the Wild, they were separate. Like, you had to load in. And so the dungeons and Tears of the Kingdom, they are part of the overworld. It's a seamless transition. And there is more variety to them, and they made the boss fights more unique and interesting, more similar to prior games. But I do agree, there's still a lot of work to be done. And so I love the idea, Joycie, that you bring up, like, just kind of you're exploring, you don't even realize you're in a dungeon, and then you're in a dungeon, right? So I'm kind of just piggybacking off what you're saying here. I definitely think that that's something they got to do, but I think it's not so much about taking away from the adventure and doing something else on top of that. It's about better incorporating the dungeons into the adventure. Because imagine you are just going through this massive like forest, right? And you just stumble upon this ancient ruin and you start digging deeper and deeper. And before you realize it, you're in the forest temple. Like, imagine like the forest temple from Ocarina of Time that's deep in the woods. Like, but it just happens. And so I want things like that, and it doesn't have to be falling within the typical elements, as you said. Like, that makes so much sense. And so I just think they need to think more about, more variety, more of the seamless transition, and I think that'll make a big difference. I want to focus on variety though, because I think that is another like interesting point. Because Breath of the Wild had a lot, but some of it felt a little repetitive, and the same can be said for Tears of the Kingdom. Like, in order to have such a huge world, there's a lot of similar elements throughout. I want them to kind of expand things to where there is a similar amount of content, but I want it to be dense and for those things to feel varied, right? Because a lot of the shrines do still feel similar, and I want a lot more variety there. So maybe they do have to kind of whittle down the amount of shrines as you're kind of talking about, Pat, and focus, and then but still give us more big dungeons. So I'm okay with that, but definitely mix it up more and have just these crazy different types of things going on. I think it's another thing about Zelda that's so special is that there's a lot of these unique interactions we have, right? Like with the weird side characters and stuff. And it's not, I don't think we lost it in Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, but maybe it's not as blatant. And so definitely incorporating more weird characters, more weird areas, and sequences of events. I think that'll help a lot.
I actually,
real quick, I just want to jump in real quick because Andre gave me an idea. What if one of those dungeons, just real random, you like run into another Nintendo character?
Like like not a main one though, like a random side character, like
Luigi. Or even a main one. We just run into Luigi, and it's just like, bruh.
Oh, Luigi's kind of main. Yeah.
Well, yeah, he is more main. But we find out we have to go into a mansion. We find out it's a dungeon, and then Luigi's like, Link, and Link's just like.
Or maybe it's not blatantly Luigi, but it's kind of like Luigi, because I mean, Ocarina of Time, there are two dudes. What is it? Ingo and the two farmers. They're Mario and Luigi, but they're not.
Yeah.
Wait, where?
Farmer.
Talon and.
Is it Talon? Ingo and Talon?
Which
I think
game?
so. Yeah.
That's Ocarina of Time.
Ocarina of Time.
Time.
Oh yeah. Okay, because they were also
Majora's.
Okay.
Yeah.
The sleepy dad and then the evil guy.
Yeah. Ingo is literally Luigi.
Yes.
And Talon is literally Mario, and Milan is not anyone.
I love how you try to wait. Milan is nope. Nothing.
I mean, maybe she's Daisy.
Baby Samus.
Oh.
And I'm sorry, Pat. I totally cut you off. What were you gonna say?
Yeah, what were you gonna say?
Well, Andres was just talking about like the unique characters, and I just think like I'm playing Link to the Past, like I said. And there's this one part in the game where you just come across this old guy, middle-aged man. That's what I describe him. This middle-aged man sitting there and like sitting by the sign. It's like, pay no attention to this middle-aged man. And then I was just playing today, and I come across this chest. Or actually, a few days ago, I came across this room with this like weird hand guy. He's like, oh, I'll tell you a profitable story. And then he tells you that the middle-aged man was a locksmith, thief guy. And then I found this chest, but it's like, there's no key to unlock it. And then, like, this was over like the few weeks, and I was like, wait, how do I unlock this if there's no key? The locksmith? Oh my gosh, the middle-aged man. And it's just like so cool how it all comes together. I feel like there's not, besides like the overarching story of the game, there's no small things like that just come together in the newer games. And maybe I just haven't played enough.
I think the idea
That's
is
fair.
like for me, like you can talk about dungeons and all that. I just want a denser world. So
Yeah,
I think the size of Tears of the Kingdom Breath of the Wild is fine. If they want to go bigger than that, that's fine. But I think the shrines and a lot of that stuff is like an excuse just to have something to do instead of actually making a much denser, more enthralling experience in the world. Like there's so much room for side quest opportunities that aren't necessarily taken advantage of, and that's like a great example of one that like, hey, this is like a connected side quest thing that you weren't even aware of, and you had to sort of connect the dots, and it involved multiple things without a quest popping up to tell you, hey, go find this thing. It is left up to the player to figure it out. And I mean, and that can even come back to dungeons a little bit too with a denser world, because one thing I really, and this is a huge credit to Breath of the Wild, and actually makes me upset about Tears of the Kingdom. Some of the best shrines that they had in Breath of the Wild were actually in the overworld when you didn't even realize you were doing a shrine. It was just like, oh, let me put this ore by this statue. What the hell is going on? I don't really understand what this is. And all of a sudden you do it because you're just thinking like, hey, this looks off. Let me try to solve this puzzle thing. Just to see if anything happens. And all of a sudden, oh, boom, a shrine pops up. And you're like, whoa. And this was right in the overworld. This was awesome. And they didn't have that in Tears of the Kingdom. And it reminded me a lot, actually. And this is, people don't like talking about Skyward Sword, but every area in Skyward Sword was sort of a dungeon to get to the dungeon. It was very dungeon-like to get there. And I don't necessarily want it to be like so restrictive like Skyward Sword was, very linear dungeon-like. But I do like the idea of if they could borrow that from Skyward Sword and be like, hey, maybe we combo that in a dungeon where the world is bigger, but that's because some of the sections, maybe the entire section's just one giant dungeon and you don't even realize it. So you're like halfway through doing it and just solving these random puzzles that happen to like give you something, and you're just not thinking anything of it because this is just a normal thing that happens in the game. And all of a sudden you're like, oh, wait a second. Why am I fighting this giant mini boss out of freaking, and that's another thing I want to come back, are the big mini bosses. Sometimes they were even more entertaining than the big bosses at times. So like, there's a lot of elements you can bring back in new ways. And the funny thing is like they kind of experimented with it in Breath of the Wild and then just completely got rid of it. And what's nice about this new Zelda game though is that they're supposedly building a whole new world, a whole new direction. And so it's really open for them to try new things or bring back old ideas in brand new ways. So it's really exciting to think about like what they might bring back. I know they keep saying we don't want to go backwards, but we saw in Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, they still didn't forget where they came from. So they're still going to bring something back. It's just, what is it? And in what really crazy way are you going to do it now that you couldn't before?
The hook shot. Bring back the hook shot. Bring back the hook shot. Yeah, please.
Dude, I'm so sad
Pat doesn't want the hook shot. He's like,
no, I love the hook shot. The hook shot's great.
Yeah.
We can build flying machines, but we can't fly loft wings. Come on, Nintendo.
I was so hoping for loft wings and Tears of the Kingdom.
Hey, we did have flying though.
I was hoping,
we did have flying. They
definitely was my favorite game. Loft wings would have been awesome.
Yeah, loft wings.
Yeah, but I was really hoping because I kind of understand maybe why Nintendo didn't do this, but to me it was kind of a missed opportunity. It's like, dude, you could have left so much crap up there from Skyloft. Just for the fun of it.
Yeah. Right. But a lot of the islands they're cool, but there's like it's usually just it's rocks and grass.
Same thing. Yeah.
And a treasure chest. And some and golden apples.
Yeah, and those are nice things, but I would have wanted to like run into like a random old man or something. Like
imagine there's like an island that was like had like the rings of colors, like Fun Island on it, but it was like broken and like colored and like grass growing over it. But that'd be like so cool just to like come across and you're like, oh.
Or imagine you find another Great Sky Island and there's an old Zonai still alive on it.
That would have been really cool. Or what if there was a fishing pond in the sky? And there's just a random guy's like, oh, my family's lived here for generations and no one ever comes.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Like, I thought we were all alone in the world.
Yeah. That
they were missing a lot of that they definitely had that, especially in Skyward Sword with its islands. There was a lot more character on every single one. It would have been cool.
I do want to take a moment to give Tears of the Kingdom props though, because I feel like whenever it comes to these conversations, we like to kind of just say, "Oh, Tears of the Kingdom didn't do this. Tears of the Kingdom didn't have this," but it did do
True.
a lot of cool things.
Oh no.
A
We
lot.
can ride dragons, right? We didn't
Yeah,
get to.
that's pretty-
We weren't able to ride
pretty awesome.
Loftwings, but we were able to ride dragons, which
Yeah.
that's kind of
Convenient.
like
This is the. By the way, look, not to get too inappropriate. This is the only game you can ride Zelda. I'm just saying.
I mean, she
That
was
is true,
already
that's
used to getting.
true.
She was already used to getting ridden. I mean, they live together.
Oh,
Well, did they? We don't know that for sure. Did they?
she's the dragon this time, not.
Excuse me, Pat, Sweet Pea.
I mean, I would love.
wait,
to
wait,
believe
wait,
that they
Pat.
did, but there's nothing that says that they actually did. Like I know
Wait a
there's
minute.
2 table settings in the house, and that's the only bed in Hyrule Link can sleep in, and I know all the stuff. But did they actually?
it's
Because
considered
why
their
would
house.
she? But here's the thing. Here's the thing, Pat.
Hmm.
Sweet Pea, how old are you, may I ask? Or
I'm
are you over 18?
No.
No, it's not.
Okay, I'm gonna keep it clean. Okay,
Yeah.
so here.
That's why I kept it like the way I did.
No, you're fine.
Okay.
You're fine.
So no, because your mama might watch this and try to find me. So no, but seriously, if a woman needs her own cave or well to get away from you, it's because she lives with somebody. It's no
Yeah.
different. And once you get into your forever relationship one of these days,
Mhm.
you will be like, I love her to pieces. I love him to pieces. But I gotta go elsewhere. You're getting on my I love you, but you're getting on my nerves. Me and my boyfriend don't even live together. We've been together for years. We don't even live together. So
Mhm.
they live together. Trust me. They
Well,
live together.
yeah.
That's part of my
So
argument.
you don't think that I, for the record, I agree with you, but just to play devil's advocate, right? Some people would argue that she created that spot because she needed a quiet place away from the children, because the children
could
visit her
argue
all
that.
the time. Yeah.
Some
but-
could argue that
What about nighttime?
when the
I
kids
mean,
are all
I-
asleep.
Well, Pat, let me ask you a question, right?
Yeah.
I mean, do you at least think that Link and Zelda are in a relationship?
Yeah,
Or-
definitely.
Okay, so you think they're in a relationship, but you're just not sure if they're intimate.
Well,
If they're staying together, we'll just say that. If they
Yeah.
live in the
Okay,
same
like,
house.
that's yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it's hard to tell.
It's one of those things where Nintendo is trying to tell you without telling you because
That's
they
true.
don't want to ruin and this sometimes bugs me with Nintendo. They don't want to ruin what you're getting out of your experience with the game. Because there's
Yeah.
some people who are just not fans of Link and Zelda being together at all.
Mhm.
I just read the signs as they go. I will be the first to tell you after A Link to the Past, Twilight Princess is probably my next favorite Zelda game. And that was the most business transaction Zelda Link I've ever seen. They
Yeah,
had
there's nothing
no,
there. Nothing.
there's no, they're not even friends. They are
Zelda
like,
was, like,
we're here to
partying
do a
together.
job.
acquaintances. Yeah.
I don't even know if they were that. They're acquaintances I would call before they seem
Not
like they
really.
even call each other.
Yeah.
So, but that's not a
It
bad
almost
thing.
hurts how distant they are. I mean, yeah, it's not a bad thing. I mean, the love interest is between Midna and what is her name, Leah or Ilia? I'm never sure. It's
Ilia.
weird.
Isn't it Ilya? Yeah.
Ilya.
Okay. Yeah. So
And
it's
I'm-
between
I
those
saw the
two.
pronunciations,
And I
got that.
think
Well,
Link
the
would have
thing
went
is,
with
it's just
Link would have went with Midna if she hadn't gone back to the Twilight Realm.
there's that comic, but that's a whole other thing.
The manga.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's not get into the manga. No, I'm sorry.
Manga.
Let's
I
not
haven't
get
read all the manga.
Well, what's
yet.
funny is that you corrected me. I said comic. You're like, you mean the manga? And I'm like, oh, do you mean the manga?
Hey,
There's levels.
I
There's
suck at
levels to snootiness here.
everyone knows my levels of enunciating. It's really bad. Okay. I don't know
Yeah,
how I'm
yeah,
successful on YouTube because I get so much shit for how I pronounce things. I'm like, oh,
Yeah, I've made multiple videos on Zelda and Link being in a relationship. I think it's interesting to see if we can make a distinction of if it's their house. I think it is their house. It's referred to their house. And I think what Joycie J says, like the fact that she needs to have her own personal room, you could argue it's just for the kids, but I mean, come on. Like, does it like she could just lock the door?
That's true.
Like,
And
so,
with children, it's kind of like, now don't y'all go bother Miss Zelda. It's late. Y'all leave her alone. Talk to
here's-
her tomorrow.
I guess,
Here's
I
some
guess.
supporting evidence though. She keeps like a new like a lock of Link's hair not his hair, but like a
She
the
keeps his hairband.
Yeah.
right in that room away from man. She also writes about a special gift for him in that room. So those both imply that these are things that are meant to be kept away from Link.
That's true. Yeah.
So it suggests more so it's about keeping a separate space from Link as opposed to from the children.
And another thing also, relationships, from what I understand in Japanese culture, you could be the most in love couple ever, but to the public, you're not, there's not a lot of PDA, there's not a lot of that back and forth like we do here in America. You know, here in America, we'll just make out in the street. We don't care. In Japanese culture, that's not appropriate even for long married couples. So it looks like it looks like a friendship to us, but I wonder what somebody from that culture would have to say about that. Go ahead, Andre.
Oh no, I think you bring up a fantastic point. That's a really, really good point. And I just want to build on top of that though. There's another angle we haven't touched on yet. Princess Zelda is Princess Zelda. She's straight royalty. She is because the entire kingdom, the monarchy, has been destroyed. She is the leader of that kingdom, right? And so her being in a relationship is a very weird political issue. And you can interpret this in multiple ways. Some people might use this as an argument to say that's why they can't be in a relationship. I disagree, especially because the monarchy no longer exists. But it is an image problem, right? So maybe they don't want to make it clear or advertise that they are living together. And so that actually could answer the common counter argument people have pointed out. It's like, hey, no one in Hateno Village recognizes Link. Some do, but very few. It could be because they literally intentionally are hiding the fact that they live together because she's royalty. He's not.
That's actually a good point.
And there's that really awkward moment at the end of Tears of the Kingdom when they're like about to be like, oh, we'll follow you, and Link's just standing there like, are we about to announce this right now? We about to go there? No.
We're doing this? No, we're not.
Link.
It literally was such an awkward pause, and they zoomed in on Link's face, and it's like, oh, come on. They're about to announce they're together and run in Hyrule together. No, she just wasn't willing to go there.
Nintendo won't give us exactly what we want, exactly. But, and also you have to look at the signs. I don't care how much a male is your best friend and how much he cares about you. He's not jumping through timelines. He's not running all around different shrines trying to get stronger. He's not beating a big badass to come save you. I don't care how close to good friends you are. I mean, yes, it's Link's job, but the real thing about Link though is he, with the exception of a few games, the way Tears of the Kingdom is kind of built, he goes where Zelda is. If he could have gone back in time and just chilled with her, he would have let Hyrule burn. I do believe that. That's a little bit more speculative, but at the very least, let's all agree to disagree. They're at least BFFs who are roommates.
Okay, that's fair.
Okay. We have another. Venatus wants to come hang out for a bit. Right. Pat, do you have anything else for us that we can discuss with you, love? You can call back to later.
Well, so we know Nate's favorite game is Tears of the Kingdom. Joycie's is Link to the Past. Andres, what's your favorite game?
So for years it was Ocarina of Time, and leading up to the release of Tears of the Kingdom, I replayed Breath of the Wild again. I have replayed it multiple times, right? But I would wrestle with the idea: should for this entire Switch generation, I've wrestled, is Breath of the Wild my favorite game now? And so when I did that final master mode run, and all the cool things I can do, how it all came together, I came to the personal decision that, you know what, Breath of the Wild is my favorite Zelda game of all time. And now I'm like, well, what about Tears of the Kingdom? Where does Tears of the Kingdom rank? And so 7 years from now, we're about to play the next Zelda game. Maybe I'll have a different opinion, but I'm going to give it to Breath of the Wild for now.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, well, it's great talking to you all. Thank you for having me on.
You too.
Thank you for calling in.
Of course. My pleasure.
Thank you for being here, man.
Of course.
Yeah, see you, Pat.
See you later. Bye.
Bye-bye.
All right.
Oh God,
That was
and
awesome.
I'm all huge
Throw a
again.
couple of super chats here while we wait for Vanatas to get in. Ari said for $5, no music today. Just wanted to send a super chat. Also, first time seeing Joycie J in a video. She was in her Zelda podcast once. Nice to meet
Ari
you.
might not have been here for that.
Favorite dungeon? I think one time you called in as well. I think you just went on camera, and I was like, "Oh, you're on camera, cool."
I've been rambling.
Yeah, it happens. Favorite dungeon for them is City in the Sky. What's our favorite dungeon?
Mine is Snow Peak Ruins, and if we're talking specifically Twilight Princess, it's Snow Peak Ruins. Link to the Past, all of them. All of them. That's the answer. All of them. That are my favorite. There's not a boring dungeon in that game.
This is a really tough question.
The name of the dungeon I'm thinking
Like
of.
I struggle just to think about the best dungeon per game. You're asking me the best dungeon across all games.
Yeah.
That is so flipping hard.
Not hard for me. But I already know.
Don't pick one, Andre. It'll hurt. It hurts too much.
Skyward Sword is mine. Skykeep, Skyward Sword. I'm just like, I've never thought about this.
No, that's part of the problem. I haven't.
We're gonna break him. All right, we need to move on. We're gonna break Andres.
Wait, no, but let me. I don't get to speak on it.
It's still a dungeon thing. We're good.
No, let me at least say. I'll just put out some thoughts. All right. Ancient Cistern, special dungeon, right?
Best
what I love, Ancient Cistern special for the thing is, there's a lot of really good dungeons, but the final boss is a little mid, and so that any dungeon that has a mid boss to me can't win, right? Like City in the Sky, love the music, love the getting to it, love the overall structure. There's some little annoying little things, but the final boss is a dragon, which is a win, but it's a small dragon. Actually, it's a wyvern. So I mean,
go sit in the corner for that.
For what? For calling it a wyvern?
No, because I just hate City in the Sky. I hate that whole dungeon.
Oh well, I mean,
go ahead, honey. Go ahead.
I'm not saying City in the Sky is that highly ranked. I'm just using it as an example. Like there's certain metrics, but Ancient Cistern, it has a cool story behind it. It makes you wonder about the history of the dungeon. I think that's really important for a dungeon when you enter it and you're asking questions about its history and why things are there. And so I think that's valued. And so Ancient Cistern has that. But it also has different tiers, right? There's the underground, there's the heaven. So there's this huge theme to it as well. There's variety to it. There's interesting puzzles and unique uses of your items. And then the final boss is one of the best final bosses in Zelda history, Koloktos, right? So like it's definitely up there. I would say it's the best dungeon in Skyward Sword. I don't know about in the series, but it's in that conversation. I'm gonna say something, and this might get me a little bit of heat. But there are two dungeons in Tears of the Kingdom that I freaking loved, right? I really did like the Wind Temple in Tears of the Kingdom, and I really did like the Lightning Temple in Tears of the Kingdom for different reasons. But they both had very cool approaches to the dungeons, like the lead-ups to them, especially the Wind Temple with all the platforms. But then the dungeons themselves, okay, maybe Wind Temple dungeon is not extremely good, like the dungeon itself. But the boss fight is, and the music is, and so the music makes very good. Yeah,
the music.
Lightning Temple though has a good lead up, maybe not the best lead, but a good lead up with the
Riju
zombies, and then the boss appearing in the front of the dungeon and working with Riju. But the actual pyramid inside, I felt like was the most Zelda dungeon of the Zelda dungeons in Tears of the Kingdom. And the boss fight, at least for me, where I was from a health perspective, was actually very hard. I died several times. It was the hardest boss in the game for me. So that's a really good one. But I'll throw out one more dungeon, and then I'll shut up because I could talk about all the dungeons. We could do a Zelda dungeon podcast.
That would be sweet.
We could, and there could be more than one episode.
Let me write that down.
Yeah, I mean Captain Bergerson. That's his YouTube career talking about Zelda dungeons.
You literally do one game per podcast.
Yeah, but I'll mention one more that's really good. So I'm not picking a favorite. I'm sorry, I can't. But
no, you can't.
The Forest Temple in Ocarina of Time.
I can. I already did.
Yeah, all right, hot shot. But Forest Temple in Ocarina of Time is also one of the best dungeons ever. It hits all the metrics very high. It's locked away deep into the woods, and you could run into it as a child accidentally, right? Actually, there's a moment where you kind of have to, and so that's really cool. It's teased way before you actually have to get to it, and you look at it and you're like, how do I get there? And you don't realize it until you get the hook shot, and you're like, wait a second, oh, I can enter this really ancient looking like ruin temple, right? And then you get into it, and it's spooky, it's eerie. It's actually a little challenging to sort out how to go about navigating it, but it has its own unique theme. And the music, one of the best. It's so good.
I love the theme.
Love it.
Fun fact about me: the Forest Temple theme has been my ringtone for 10 years.
Damn.
Yep.
All right.
The occasional time I take it off silent.
Yeah.
All right.
And I'll finish. I'm sorry. I just want to finish the thought. Right.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You got the Poe sisters, right? So that's a really interesting like mid boss. It's like happening throughout the entire fight, and you're asking questions like, who are these Poe sisters? Like, what's their history, right? And then when you get deep down there, you run into who you think is Ganon, and you're like, I was shitting bricks as a kid. Because like, oh my god, I am not ready for this. And it turns out to be like a demon puppet version of him, which is even creepier. It's an epic fight that's actually kind of hard if you don't get your perspective right. So considering this came out in 98, where we're still figuring out camera controls in 3D games, that made it even harder. And then when you beat him, Ganondorf is like, oh, you can only barely beat my puppet. And then the puppet has this gruesome, painful death. And so there's just so much there. And then you meet Sari at the end. All right. So it's I don't know. I'm almost talking myself into the Forest Temple being my favorite, but it's a really, really good one. Anyways, I'm done. I'm sorry. I delayed things so much.
That's all right. We have special caller coming in. Remember, you guys can call in as well if you're members. All the details down in the description. But not to 712. How's it going, buddy?
It's going. Can you hear me?
Hey. Oh, we got yeah.
What's up, man?
I just want to say that I know what it feels like to be Eric now, because I was waiting backstage there for like 10 minutes to talk.
Sorry.
No, it's okay.
No, that's my fault. I'm sorry, buddy.
No, you're good. I'm just blessing. I'm just messing. What's up? I was thinking as I was reading the chat and as I was listening to y'all talk, Joycie J, I cannot agree more on your take on the City in the Sky. I think it's boring. I remember the first time that I played it, that the music killed me. And so that's not what I want to talk about, but I just wanted to point that out.
I thought it was funny. I was going to actually ask you, can we at least agree that music is good?
No, we cannot.
Andre will be sitting in the corner.
Oh, man.
No.
Hey, listen.
No.
Everyone can have different opinions. That doesn't mean we can't be happy with each other. That's all right.
No, Andre, that's just misinformation.
Yeah.
Anyway, go ahead, Vanessa, honey. I love you, Andre. You're my favorite nephew.
Beautiful.
He's my favorite nephew.
So
I'll take it.
I want to stir the pot a little bit.
Go for it.
And just be devil's advocate for a minute.
You're already stirring the pot by hating the music. So, all right.
Hey, it's my thing. I got hard opinions on music. So
let's do it.
But give me so we hear all the discussion around Tears of the Kingdom about the good and the bad, and a lot of the bad is focused on the story, obviously. So I guess my thought is just to have the conversation here, because I've listened to Nate talk about this over and over again, about his thoughts of why he thinks it's good and why I'm trying to think of the right way to put it, but just to kind of open up the question, because I've been listening to some of those who have had some less than kind thoughts about the story and the overall narrative, I guess you could say, of Tears of the Kingdom. And I'd just like to open up the debate, if I guess.
Can I go first?
Sure.
Wait, I'm still a little confused about the question. I'm sorry, I'm answering messages. We have a lot more people, actually.
I mean, is the basic question? Well, let's get that straight first. Is the basic question is, our thoughts on the story of Tears of the Kingdom on why it's good or why it's bad?
Yes, and I
Okay.
want to try to play devil's advocate for those who have
Okay.
said that they have a big problem with it.
Sure.
Go for it, Andre.
So wait, when you say you want to play devil's advocate for what, are you arguing that it's bad or are you arguing that it's good?
I'm going to argue that it's bad,
Okay, cool.
but
Yeah,
I don't actually believe it. So I'm going to try to play devil's advocate.
love it.
Okay,
I
hit
love
the
it.
hang up button.
That is a
Oh.
healthy perspective.
Hang on.
Believing one thing, but playing it from the other side.
I think I'm giving you
that's
too much
very
power.
intelligent. So for me, right, what I kind of make of the situation is that I think Tears of the Kingdom's story and by design is what you make of it. We were just talking about the relationship between Link and Zelda, and we were just talking about how while there are plenty of signs that you can take to mean, oh, yep, they're in a relationship, they live together, Nintendo does do things in a way where you can choose to think that they're just friends, right? And so it's just, that's kind of a lot of the way they handled things. And maybe I think there's definitely certain things to criticize about the story, like 100%. The retell of the imprisoning war. I think they should have had unique cutscenes at the end of the dungeons as opposed to the same one. Basically, that was a lost opportunity. But ultimately, for me, right, while there are little things like some characters don't recognize Link and things of that nature, I really enjoyed the flashbacks. I thought they were way better done than Breath of the Wild. The acting was superb. I loved seeing the other characters like Rauru and Sonia. But then also there was story happening, not just with the flashbacks, but as you did the different dungeons, going to different areas with Link and what was going on with that. And then you had the survey corpse, right? Like there was so many different like other little stories happening at the same time. And I felt like it made everything more rich. And I also think that they did a good job, or a better job at least, of kind of building up Ganondorf. Because not only did you have the flashbacks, but you also had Phantom Ganon who would follow you throughout the game. And then you had the puppet Ganon that was pretending to be Zelda throughout the game. And then that epic scene that happens in Hyrule Castle when you finally get to it, and how she beckons you, and is clearly Ganon is using Zelda to manipulate Link. Like, that's some crazy stuff. But then you also have the multiple monologues of Ganondorf. But then also your friends, the sages who come in, and you build the relationships up with them. And let me not miss like pointing out the epic prologue to the game, which I think is one of the best prologues we've ever seen in games, period, in my personal opinion. But then also the way the game closed with the final bosses and how Link got to reunite with Zelda, and then that final epilogue scene. All that together, to me, it left me in awe, almost in tears. You can go back, watch my live stream. Like I did it live at the very end. And so I don't know, for me, the story that I chose to experience, the way I chose to interpret things, I thought it was magical. I thought it was amazing. But I also understand that some people may not have wanted to see things that way. They may have saw certain issues that took away from their personal immersion. And I can kind of see why some people come at it from a negative perspective. But that's not the way I chose to see it. I saw too much good to let that impact it for me.
Okay. I'm going to answer this message, and I'm going to give my answer. Or Nate, do you want to give an answer first? I'm sorry. I feel like we're leaving you out.
Okay. So he's going to play devil's advocate. Do you have a response to what he just said?
So actually, I figured out what my actual question was because I actually phrased it wrong. So.
Oh, sure.
So I guess the real question was, and what led into this, my idea for this was just, do you think Tears of the Kingdom is a good sequel? Because that plays into story and many other things, in which you touched on some of that.
Joycie J's got some strong opinions there.
Extremely strong.
Define a good sequel.
I like Tears of the Kingdom by itself. I don't like it as a sequel. Because, okay, y'all gonna hear me say this for the millionth time. Andre might only be your second time hearing me say this. I'm a writer. I love to write. It is my happy place. It is my cathartic place. Okay. It's the only reason why I'm a little bit saying this. There has to be continuity. It makes absolutely no sense why there's no reference to anything that happened before. Zelda, you don't miss your friends, your champions that all died, that were, doing the whole SOS chant as they died in the Divine Beast. You don't miss them, so y'all ain't gonna talk about them? Okay. Suddenly, certain people don't remember Link, who we know we talked to. Okay. What's happening here? Okay, I didn't like that at all. Okay, so that's what drives me crazy. The other thing I will say about the story itself is I kind of felt like we already did memories in Breath of the Wild. Why we got to do memories again? Granted, there's Zelda's memories, and I love having more of Zelda present, but why couldn't we do real-time stuff? You know what I mean?
We did have real-time stuff, though.
We did, but the story itself is mostly told through.
You're saying the significant.
Well, I guess it's real-time, but it's in the past.
I will say
to
counter that, I think I see what Andres is trying to say is like the cutscenes for the most part are memories, but the story itself, I think that sometimes when I've heard people talk about this and talk about how the story, quote unquote, is bad, like for both Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, they're talking about the memories, but the story is more than just the memories. Like,
true,
you're doing things outside of the cutscenes. It's actually, true. I watched, I don't remember who, I think it was Zeltic a while ago, made a video about the best Zelda cutscenes, and one of the points he made was in reference to some interview or whatever that Miyamoto did 20 years ago, which he probably doesn't even believe anymore. Who knows? That where he said something to the effect of that he doesn't necessarily like the idea of having cutscenes be the way people experience story in video games, because I guess the philosophy was that you're being taken out of the game, and almost in a way, even though it's not exactly this way, but you kind of get that feel when you start watching a cutscene, you put the controller down and you just start watching it like a movie, which is not a bad thing, but there can be a sense, like I get this sense when I play Sony games. I don't really like playing a lot of current Sony games because that's what it feels like a lot of times. It's like I'm watching a movie, I'm not really playing a game. And I know that's a big generalization, but it's just kind of what I experience.
But some of those games are like that. That is kind of, I feel the same way.
Yeah. So I think the point to counter Joyce, a little bit of Joyce, what Joyce is saying is like the memories can be good, but they're not the whole story. But I think
good point.
One of the things that I've heard, I think you mentioned, is just like there's just inconsistencies I find with certain things in Tears of the Kingdom. So like, for instance, Terrytown. Let's not even go to Hatano. Let's go to Terrytown. It feels like, at least from what I remember, and I didn't spend a whole lot of time in Terrytown, that the only people who actually knew who you were was Hudson and Rodson. But if Terrytown exists in this game, which it does, and all the people who were brought in there through the side quests were brought there,
are you?
It's conceivable that then they're assuming the events of that side quest were done where you brought them in. And yet they don't seem to know who you are, which is like, I don't know about you, but if some random guy just showed up and told me about this town where I went and my entire life was changed, I'd probably remember who that was.
Yes.
You know, it's things like that, I think, that are problematic to it being a sequel, because there's inconsistencies from one to the next.
Sure. I don't. Go on.
I'm sorry. I was just going to say real quick. I want to make it really clear. I like the story of Tears of the Kingdom. I got very teary-eyed and I got all emotional because I was like, everything was like, oh my gosh, they're so cute. I love the little part at the end where you have to catch her. That was a very big deal for me. Very emotional.
And it was playable. It was a playable cutscene.
It was a playable cutscene, and the music. That's a whole other podcast. And so that's just 3 hours just discussing that one part. But I did like, it's just that I dislike not having continuity, and that's just what bugs me as a writer and a very, very big reader. I don't start a series so the main character isn't remembered for not really a great reason. And then also what also kind of bugged me as well, the people who did know him, like Pura, she's almost like, dude, where have you been? I'm like, you weren't worried? You weren't concerned?
I mean,
I'm your friend.
Link,
I'm your
You
friend
also
too.
are like the badass.
right?
I'm
Like
not gonna be
Link
that
can,
concerned about
Link
you.
can do
You
so.
already saved Hyrule once. You out doing your shit.
So, Age of Calamity, there's a scene where all the knights are like rooting for Link to just eat a whole bunch of rocks or something, and he just does it,
Classic.
and no one's worried for his health because Link is a specimen, right? Like he's
True.
a monster.
He must have drank a lot of milk and some strong teeth.
Yeah.
That's
But
how it
those
works.
cows were not cows. Those
He
cows,
won't-
it was
yeah.
Leviathan milk he was
Yeah.
drinking. Yeah.
That's Lionel milk.
Yeah, probably.
That doesn't make sense, by the way.
No,
but
whatever.
Anyway. But I do, as individually, I do like the story, and I will argue that Tears of the Kingdom is the game the fans built. Because what did we all, quote unquote, complain about for Breath of the Wild? There's not enough to do. There's not enough side quests. There's not enough story. We got all the things in Tears of the Kingdom. We
More
got all the
bosses.
things. Way more bosses. It
I
creeped
still
me
wanted
out.
more.
It creeped me out in the depths every time I would just
So
be
good.
walking along, and then I would hear something creep up behind me in the background. It freaked me out. I loved it. I got sick of Guardians. I'm not gonna lie. In Breath of the Wild, after a while, that piano music, I'm just like, I get annoyed instead of scared. Gloom Hands never fail to scare me.
Oh.
So there's
I
a lot
love-
of good things.
The later on I get in Breath of the Wild, I love going find Guardians and just wrecking. Like
It's nice.
it's funny to see the progression when you first start to when you end, where you're avoiding them, and then like I would go out and actively go to Hyrule Castletown just to have some fun and just like destroy stuff. It's funny you mentioned the depths. I think the depths initially were really cool, and there's a lot there I think that is awesome. Like the atmosphere is really well made. The Spirit Temple is what it was. I didn't find it was that egregious. Some people think it's the worst thing ever, but I thought it was decent. But I honestly, after a while, when I realized that all the light routes tell you where shrines are on the surface, especially like some of the ones in caves, like I just started making tons and tons of hovercrafts and stuff and just gliding around the depths to just get those and not do anything else, because it was just like, I don't know, it was big, but there wasn't a lot to do in the depths other than that. Like there was the Colosseums. Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that kind of goes back to what we were talking about with Pat. Like, I do think there should be more variety and kind of depth, right? Like, but I think there's pun intended, or it was actually not intended. But anyway, kind of going back just to like the story stuff, though, right? Like, I agree that there are little things throughout Tears of the Kingdom that are potentially immersion breaking, right? And so I do think that is a big part of the issue, right? Like how some characters don't recognize you. Like I get that. For me, it wasn't a big deal because I was just like, oh, okay, this is a video game, whatever. Like I just kind of looked past it. Like my suspension of disbelief was not broken by that, right? Because I mean, there are ways you can headcanon out of that, right? Like you could just think of it. Well, it's been years since Breath of the Wild, and so that can help explain some of that, right? Maybe Link is a little secretive about his relationship with Zelda because of the whole royalty thing. So there are ways you could headcanon out of some of this stuff, right? But that's me going through the hoops and hurdles, and I understand that. It kind of goes back to what I was saying earlier, how I think it's kind of what you make of it, right? Some people don't want to do that, and maybe that's something Nintendo should take into consideration, because had they just taken the time to make it so people recognize Link, because like people can recognize Link and still not know that he's in a relationship with Zelda, right? Like those are two separate things. They don't have to be connected.
Yeah.
So like I agree. There's room for improvement. And I kind of, what's interesting is that I think they did play around with a little bit of this idea, because when you're able to do different things out of order, you then have to start thinking about, okay, how do these certain NPCs respond to you based on what you do? And so to your point about Purah, right? She has different responses based off where you're at in the game. And some of it's kind of, it is sort of constructed in a way depending on what you've done. but there's just so much variety to that perhaps they weren't willing to put in enough of the work to kind of fit enough scenarios to where because it does eventually get immersion breaking. There are a few moments where you're like, well, why didn't you know I did this already? Right? Like there's that point in the game where you already know what happened to Zelda, but they're like, oh, well, what happened to Zelda? Oh, we don't know. And Link knows. He's like, oh, I'm not telling you, suckers. There's a little bit of that you can argue.
Link's just really bad at reading the room.
I mean, Link could be a little bit of a dullard. Like that, there could be a bit of that, right? Like the player may know, but Link may have experienced the memories. Like, I wonder who that dragon is. Kind of reminds me of Zelda, but it's probably not her. You know, like she's in a hole. Right, she's in a hole, and that's how you find Ganondorf. I knew it. She was in a hole. Knew it from the beginning.
Oh wow. Yeah.
Link
say,
can't even process what time is or time travel. He's just like, oh, so it's a hole. Time travel's a hole. But what were you saying?
I see that Nate is trying to get me out, so I'm just kidding. It's
not that. It's just that we're actually a little bit busier than we anticipated. So we're actually going to have to put a timer on this, and we didn't want to.
Yeah, I just say just one more thing because I'm about to go hit the hay anyway. But
keep the stream running.
The problem, as y'all were kind of hinting at, is that it seems like they were trying to make it as much as possible to where Tears of the Kingdom could be welcoming for someone who's it's their first game. And in some ways, like, that made it not a good sequel. Like, the fact that, I don't know if that influenced that, but it felt like, it's almost like that's what they're trying to do. It's like, they are trying to assume that either you come in with no experience of any prior Zelda game, or all the experience of every prior Zelda game, or even you've just played Breath of the Wild, but you haven't done every side quest, or everything. So it's like, there's almost this feeling of, like, emptiness within the cohesion of the
they try to do
as a
both.
sequel. Yeah,
because there is evidence of Breath of the Wild, right? Like,
right.
To anyone who says that it's never happened, obviously there's exaggeration that occurs, right? But it's a mixed bag.
This topic's going to come on a podcast. I just wrote this down. This topic needs to be further. I'm not kidding. It needs to be further discussed. This is a really good topic.
I'm just giving you more content, you know? There you go.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you so much for hanging out with us, Benatis. We so appreciate it.
Yeah, man.
And I am going to head off to bed, so y'all have fun.
All right, good night, man.
Have a good night.
Have a great night. Okay, ladies and gentlemen.
One up me by saying great, right? Better than my good. Yeesh.
You're my favorite nephew, Andre.
It's all right.
Okay.
I'm gonna say fantastic next time. Try one-upping that.
Oh,
do you want a hug?
No, I'm good.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. I'll send Nate over there. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen of the chat, my two favorite nephews, both of them are my favorite nephews. They are going to keep y'all entertained. I have to make a run real quick. I will be back in 2 minutes. Okay.
Sounds good.
Y'all hold it down.
Yeah, we got it. So, another thing to note as well for people who are going to be calling in, the members that are going to be calling in, we are limiting it now to 10 minutes because apparently we have quite a few people trying to get in. So future calls, we're gonna try really hard to keep it down to 10 minutes. I'm gonna run it on a timer, so I'm not gonna be like a dick about it. But I'm gonna be like, we gotta kind of move this thing along. But while we're
don't start playing the music at the game or was it the
sign? Oh yeah, the music.
Please hurry up.
Please hurry up. Please get out of here. All right.
Please kindly get the hell out of my house.
Taurus is next whenever Taurus wants to get in. Until then, we have Jorge FT did a $5 super chat earlier saying, concerning what Aonuma and the Zelda team have talked about doing all they wanted to do with Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild, do you believe them in that regard? I'll go first. Personally, I do think, like, when they said we did everything we want to do, I actually think they meant it. They spent a lot of time making this game, and I really think every idea they had for this particular world, they put it in there. So I do actually believe it.
Yeah, no, I think I think it's the important distinction here, and you mentioned it, Nate, for this particular world. Yeah. And that's the difference, right? Like they definitely have other ideas. They definitely have other ideas they want to do. But
Fujibayashi literally said, "I already have ideas for the next Zelda game."
Right, they already.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's more so just about for the vision that they had for Tears of the Kingdom. They don't feel like they left anything behind. They matched the vision. They don't have any regrets about what they did for Tears of the Kingdom.
Yeah, at all. So like, that's one of those things I think that comes out when people are like, do we really believe there won't be DLC? I have no idea, but they said they used all their ideas. I'm presuming they're already working on the next Zelda. And my thing too is that if they're with a new system coming, they want to get working on the new Zelda ASAP. They don't want to waste time making DLC.
I actually think this ties into my theory about Ocarina of Time remake, right? Or should I say our theory? Right.
Yeah.
Well, just in the sense
we
that
kind of came up with it together, just talking about it last year. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the rumor's been around for a couple of years, right? Game Over.
I don't know what
Jesse's
Taurus is doing. He keeps joining and leaving. What's up, buddy? You okay over there?
Yeah.
I got you whenever you're ready.
He can join in. He can just start talking, right?
Yeah. Well, he just keeps popping in and then leaving. I don't know if he's.
Probably trying to sort it out. Yeah, but I guess the only point I was just getting at there is that, by Nintendo and the Zelda team not focusing on DLC, they're moving on to their next projects, right? So one of them is obviously the mainline Zelda, but like it's kind of like, for example, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, right? This past year, they kind of like the in between stuff is the DLC, and so like you could look at if they had Tears of the Kingdom DLC, they could have had that be like, oh, that's a 2024 content or what have you, but by not doing that, that opens the door for something else being kind of the next Zelda thing. And so, maybe you want to look at the effort that they could have put into DLC as maybe the effort they might put into like, maybe new content in Ocarina of Time remake, for example, if that happens. That's just a theory, a game theory. But there you go. There you go. Right, and then obviously also all hands on deck for mainline Zelda. I think if there's a remake happening, it would be an outsourced team, but maybe some overseeing.
Yeah, there might be
they still
but
yeah, exactly.
All right, let's see if Taurus is ready this time. Hit add and see what happens. What's up, Taurus? You there?
Hey,
there he is.
I can't hear Taurus.
You can't hear him?
No.
It was just you saying hi, wasn't any left. Yes, he's still sorting it out.
Okay.
I hope that he sorts it out. He was really looking forward to this event.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah, it's okay. I mean, you could do it from your phone even.
Right? Yeah, you can do it from your phone.
Yeah.
Like your phone, it simplifies the equation. You just jump in, and it usually just works.
Yeah. I've literally done it from my phone before, so.
Yeah.
I'm back, guys. At least on the. I'll turn my camera back on.
Actually, interesting. Jake yesterday probably should have done the podcast from his phone.
I mentioned it to him that it'd be a higher quality video feed if he would just use his phone.
It wasn't really a problem though.
I know.
Yeah.
It sounded the same as normal.
Yeah, it was fine.
He's like, well, I have a better mic. I'm like, you sound the same because you're always like 10 feet back from your mic, dude. So like it doesn't really sound any different. Shout out to King Frost, by the way. Just throw that out there. His membership just re-upped 8 months in a row. Thank you so much, buddy. Appreciate the support. Yeah, I'll do a shot to that. We have a super chat sitting here that I can't do because it's for Joycie.
I'm here. I'm just not on camera just yet. I'll be there in a minute. I'm trying to fix something.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Oh,
okay,
let's see if Taurus has it. I don't know. We'll add him in again. You there, Taurus? Hello?
I am here. Can you hear me?
Hello.
I can hear him.
You can be heard.
And it kicks him out again.
Oh my God, is
this
this StreamYard?
Maybe get off your Wi-Fi. Maybe it's a Wi-Fi issue. You can try just going to your phone on.
He's telling me that it keeps kicking him out. That
Yeah, I know.
StreamYard keeps kicking him out.
He said it in the chat too. You could try a different browser as well. I don't really know what other tips to give. I've never had this happen before, so.
Yeah, I'm telling him to use Chrome because I know Safari and Firefox can be funny with StreamYards.
Sorting that out. This was a question for you, Joycie, from Chris Lanzer. What would be your ideal next Zelda game? Obviously, try to keep it short.
I'm not gonna lie to y'all. Cyberpunk Zelda would be lit, but I don't think the fans were ready for that. I think Andre and I would totally be able to handle it, but for the fan base as a whole, I don't think that's a smart move.
We already got a motorcycle, baby.
I've talked about it before, but like my ideal Zelda is like a mix, like cyberpunk, but also outside the cities. It's like all really ancient giant forests and just giant creatures. Be epic.
Mine's a combo of what Tears of the Kingdom is and Shadow of the Colossus.
Oh,
Lily's gonna come back.
Awesome.
Not Lily. Taurus is gonna come back, and I'm trying to find Lily's message. Oh, there she is. I'm sorry, guys. I'm trying to.
It's all right.
Say. Lily, if you can hear me, sweet pea, I'm DMing you right now.
Oh darn! I just realized.
But Taurus is gonna come back.
You left the pot on?
No, I told people I'd show Ruby on my live stream at the end, and I didn't.
Oh,
you can show her now.
That means at the start of your next stream, Ruby better just be there right away.
Yeah.
Just let her introduce you.
There you go.
Yeah.
Just start the stream just Ruby only.
That'd be fun.
She's just licking the mic like I have no idea what's going on.
Do it now.
Sorry, I haven't even been this entire time. I'm like, what is going on? All right, we got Lily Young ready to go. Let's get Lily Young up in here. Hey, Lily.
Hello.
Hi.
We love Lily around here. She's like, she's my niece.
Should I have video?
Yeah, you're good.
Yes, you look good.
Hello.
Hello there.
All right. What's your question? You got 10 minutes here. Let me get the timer going. Hello?
Lily, did you freeze?
Did we lose her? Did we lose her?
No, not Lily. It's my baby girl.
Might have disconnected. Looks like it disconnected. That's okay. I messed up my timer anyways. Delete that timer. That is not the timer I wanted. Not 10 seconds. That would have been way too quick. Nah, there we go. We start at pause. All right. Well,
we're gonna try to get her back, guys.
We'll get her in here. Hello.
It's clocking. StreamYards is tripping. I think. I don't even think it's them. I think it's StreamYards.
I'm gonna kick her, and then that'll give her a fresh reset when she comes in. Give her a fresh reset. If it starts failing too bad, I can have people call me on Discord. They can at least video or at least audio in. All right, I think she's back. There we
Yay!
go.
Yay!
Hey, all right.
Okay.
Come on.
Hi again. Okay, look.
And there it goes. All right, Lily.
This was a great idea when StreamYards was working.
I mean, we were 2 for 2, and now we're 2 for 4.
Oh, yeah. It's got a 50% right now. Lily, if you want, you could just hit me up on Discord, and I can get you in through there. I can say the same to Taurus too. Oh, Lily's trying again with video. Let's see. Let's see if it keeps you here. Do not kick her.
Okay, I'm just gonna show off my rainbow embrace that I made. That Zelda inspired that I made tonight for the stream.
Cool.
That is cool.
Thank you.
Wow.
Thanks. Yeah, so
I love it.
I've not.
And then it went. I don't know why it's doing
At
that.
least we got to see.
But you guys can just have them DM me on Discord. Joycie does.
Okay.
I might even be able to show them on screen. I can show them on screen actually. So if you guys want a video, and I can still do that too.
And Netweed09 in the chat, NSO connection.
NSO connection. It's so crazy too. We were 2 for 2, then 0 for 4. I don't know what's going on. I mean, ideally, we'll still try to get you into the StreamYard thing, and then if it fails for the new people, we'll just instantly just say, hey, let's just go to Discord.
So, you know what's a game series that I think Zelda fans would actually really like if they haven't tried it before?
Wait, say it again, Andre. I'm sorry, Sweet Pea.
Do you know what's a game series that I think a lot of Zelda fans would really like that they may not have played before.
What's that?
Well, recently, 2 entries in the series came out on Nintendo Switch Online.
The monasteries?
Golden Sun.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying, Golden Sun's pretty good.
Yeah,
I need to play it.
Yeah, you should. It was interesting because I decided to start it when it came out, and then last night I should have gone to bed after Nate's stream, but I always
You got
time
sucked
to
in.
myself, right? I get like a snack. I might watch anime or something, right?
Yeah.
And so I actually sometimes I watch Crunchyroll on my PlayStation. The app's not on my TV because I don't know, Crunchyroll's weird like that. But sometimes I watch it on my Switch, and so I turned on my Switch because it's just been running better lately, and I forgot they had left Golden Sun on, and so instead of watching something, I was just like, oh, maybe I'll just play Gold. Like I had like some Pop Tarts and I just kind of started eating as I was playing Golden Sun, and then before I knew, I played Golden Sun for like almost 3 hours, straight into the night, and I was like, oh, this is sick because the beginning sequence is so crazy. But I don't know, Golden Sun's really cool because it's an RPG, right? But it especially for like Game Boy Advance, like the visual style is really like. It's really ambitious for a Game Boy Advance game, but it has kind of like that very fantasy style in like older times, which is similar to Zelda. But like there's a lot of like dungeon stuff going on too. Like you move around like puzzle things, and you do some platform jumping, kind of like a Zelda game. And so it has a little bit of that, but it also has kind of like that kind of mythical, magical story as well. I don't know. It has a little bit of Zelda in it, even though it's like a JRPG at the same time, and just really cool music and like fights and story. So yeah, if you have Nintendo Switch Online expansion pack, Game Boy Advance, try Golden Sun.
I'm gonna play it.
In love.
I told Boris to call me. I'll call him.
It has the ability to suck you in, right? Like when the game kind of just draws you. Golden Sun drew me in, like. Yeah.
Hello, Taurus. Oh, you probably can't hear me. My mic settings are not right. I don't even know what setting to set it to. Just set it to everything. We'll make everything the same setting. That's always smart. Hello. So like, he's not talking either. So.
No, wait. I heard somebody say hello. Taurus.
Talk, man. I heard.
Uh-oh. This ain't good.
Talk. See, this is why. Like, we find out what's going on. Apparently, I suck at this. Let's try.
I don't think it's you.
Let me try to join with my phone and just see if I
Could
can.
be me. Could be me. It's probably my fault.
No,
I'm gonna turn off.
I'm leaving.
I'm connecting to a different internet connection.
Over.
Well, I mean, he does like City in the Sky, so I mean.
Yeah. And I'm gonna try joining with my phone and just see if it kicks me out. See if it's a local issue, if it's a phone issue, what it is. Because the other person joined from his computer.
And if we have to, we'll just get real ghetto, and we'll do it like we always do. Take questions in the chat.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna try to join and see what happens. Allow my mic and cam access. Yes. Double me up because this is smart. Display name. Hi. See. Now you got multi.
And now we can't hear you. And I see Ruby. Ruby's gonna run the stream until we can get our technical issues figured out.
Here's Ruby.
Hi, Ruby.
So maybe it's when you join with a phone.
That's weird.
I wonder if it's just a phone. You know what? Let me act like I'm adding Eric to the stream. See what happens. Because then if it works from my computer and my own Wi-Fi, then it literally could just be a phone issue. So maybe we shouldn't
Did I
tell
make a
people.
lot of noise there
We
when I was
shouldn't
moving
tell
the mic
people to
around?
join with the phone.
You're fine.
Okay.
Don't join with the phone. Apparently, it doesn't work.
Oh.
We were good when
try
Streamlabs was
rejoining.
working.
This is literally just computer joining, and I'm
I
just.
did
gonna
put the
grab
oven to preheat, by the way.
it. What he's saying is he's gonna be dipping out soon so he can eat.
I didn't say that.
Okay.
I said it was okay for her to get a snack so he can eat on stream. It's totally cool.
That's
and what
Casual
was that
stream.
snack again? What do we call that snack?
Pizza.
That's not a snack. It's a meal.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna eat the whole box.
Okay.
That's
I
when it
went-
becomes a meal.
I went to the gym before we start all the live stuff, so I have extra. I need to eat something beyond
All right,
just a
let's
single
see.
butter.
Guys,
granola
Taurus
bar.
is grabbing his laptop.
Yeah, it might be a computer thing.
And having hope might have DM'd you, Nate.
Nishant K, just for the record, I also think a lot of Zelda fans that are big, very story-centric fans
Yeah.
should definitely play Xenoblade as well. But I would say Golden Sun is closer to Zelda than Xenoblade because of the dungeon stuff. But yeah, Xenoblade from a story perspective gives you a lot of that. It gets more so. So Xenoblade, like it's almost like a non-Nintendo game because of how story-centric it is. Long cutscenes that you cannot interact with. It's like watching an
Confirm
anime.
it's a
Basically.
phone issue. Streamlabs is kicking phones.
Okay.
I just talked to a rep too, and I kept my computer connected until I kicked it out. So yeah, it's a phone thing. So if you're gonna call in tonight, make sure that you have a laptop or something. You might not kick your tablets. That I have no idea, but
It kicks phones.
it's kicking phones right now.
I bet
You
it
gonna
won't
try?
kick me. Yeah, I'm gonna
Yeah,
try.
you can literally, you already have the link. You can literally rejoin with your phone.
Yeah, I'm gonna double in.
You double in.
I'll mute my mic just so we don't have experience.
The echo thing. Yeah.
Double the Andre. Just
Technical
whatever stream needs.
You said someone was DMing me.
Yeah, I think it's having hope.
Let me check here. I have no requests at the moment. But yeah, if you're gonna call in, try to grab a laptop or something. It'll work better. It
Even try your
didn't
tablet,
kick me
guys.
up. I mean, you could try a tablet. That I don't have one on me right now. But it definitely kicked my phone, but did not kick my computer. Like it let me join and it was fine, just like with Lily, and then it punted me out. Okay, well the timer doesn't matter. So there's nobody here. At least it's pre-set up. Charles Trudell would like to come on for a technical discussion.
I'm gonna let y'all handle that. Y'all know I don't know nothing about no tech.
So I don't, Nate. I don't know if you saw, but I added myself for a second, and then
It booted you.
It crashed. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
But
definitely
I saw I saw a potential alternative though. It gave me an option to download an app. So maybe if you do the app, it might work.
okay.
So I'm
Maybe
gonna
that's
try
what it is.
downloading that.
They used to not have an app, so maybe that's why.
Maybe that's why. Yeah, because actually, it did. I think normally I used to just be able to click in, but it actually directed me to use Safari because I'm on my iPhone,
Mhm.
and then use a link there. So it actually it was already putting me through hoops, and then it was like, no. Maybe you should just download the app.
I bet you they said grab the app because it's better on their servers or something.
Probably. So
they're
I'm gonna
literally-
try. I'm gonna try downloading the app real quick, but
Yeah, if the app works
Yeah.
smooth and sweet, then that's all it is.
I'm gonna try that to test it out.
If
Also, that gives me more camera angles.
it does. It does. Hey, we have Charles already ready to come in. Technical man, Mr. Charles Trudell.
Hey, Charles, how are you?
Hi, Charles.
I'm still only giving you 10 minutes, you bastard. All right, let's go.
Hey, hello. Very good.
I think we're getting a little lag.
Yeah, he lags when he calls it. We can still
Let
hear
me
your
just
audio.
make sure then. Okay, so that's good. I'm going to just mute the YouTube so that way. Yeah, that's perfect. Just
Yeah, and I
making
can
sure
reduce
that
your
it's
background
muted at
noise.
the right place, and I come back. Good.
Yeah, you're good, man.
Basically, my little segment I thought to do was more of a technicalities analysis of what happened before and what we can do next. And I'm going to just start with the most simple thing. Do you all remember the developers' surprise at Tears of the Kingdom launch?
Yes. Developers were shocked at how well everything just worked.
Yeah.
That's it. They were shocked. And there's two reasons for that. It's because no one actually tried to do this on even hardware 4 to 5 times the power of the Switch. Or in the case of the Series S, and I'm saying the Series S, 8 times the power. So, if developers were already shocked by what they did on something that was basically just 2 times more powerful than an Xbox 360, how will it go for that team when they will actually have access to an hardware that has 6
Look at
times the
that.
power
Look
of
at
that?
Andres going right now. Yup.
So,
not
this is just the beginning of the discussion, because if we start with this simple aspect, we get into quite the moon IDs. Like, hey, for this reason, the next game is a freaking science fiction game. And so they're just freaking Andre saying, yup, okay, I guess.
Oh, this is just testing the phone app to make sure it's it definitely looks like this is an issue if you don't have the app. So you can still use your phones. Get the app, guys. It's free.
Okay, the app is on Play Store, gang, or the iOS store.
Yeah, StreamYard Guest. That's the name of the app, StreamYard Guest, and it can work. And I think this is neat because I could use it to
Multiple angles. Yeah, it's nice.
yeah, to show Ruby off.
There you go.
Oh
the
yeah,
Ruby
you have a
cam.
second camera just on the
Ruby
side.
cam.
Yeah,
There it
she's
is.
not on the she's not in the room right now. She just left, but
Anyways, okay.
we got it.
So there
I'm
you
gonna-
go.
Too
I'm gonna
big a
leave
star
it,
for us.
Figured it out. StreamYard added an app now, so they want you to use the app if you're on a phone. So we're good. We figured out the problem. Thank you, StreamYard, for never communicating this to me. All right, moving on.
We appreciate it.
And thank you, Andres, to make the test for us.
No
Yep.
problem.
So, to get back to the original discussion, so, Andres, you said you wanted them to go to the moon.
Yeah. Let's go to the moon, baby.
I'm just going to say it, but like, you do realize this is actually possible with the next hardware.
Oh yeah.
Ooh.
Oh yeah. For sure. And I love the
Like,
point
I
you make
mean,
about
if we add some kind of spaceship in the next Zelda, I wouldn't even be surprised at this point. It all depends on how crazy Fujibayashi can be. And he can be crazy since he decided to put Recall and Neutron in the same game.
you wanna know what's wild.
Also, there's also that.
Majora's
The fact that
Mask,
they
you
decide
go
to do
the
big
moon.
ass open zone like it's nothing.
So, but let me just throw this idea out at you, right? Majora's Mask, the moon's hovering above you, right? Like it's but so imagine a Majora in a weird, creepy way. Like that's pretty much how what
Like
it does.
that.
But like, imagine if Majora's Mask was remade in the Tears of the Kingdom engine.
And
You would be able to go to the moon.
Yeah.
You would literally be able to fly there.
There's just one thing though. The moon in Majora's Mask is basically a psychological combat. It's like it's not a real physical combat. Like obviously what's going on the moon at the end of the game is a freaking dream or something. Of course, the
Debatable.
kind of dream that happens there
You will say, I don't know if I believe it's a dream.
plainly weird. Well,
Yeah.
it's mostly because you can easily interpret the whole ending of that game as Link being attacked directly by what possessed the mask. And since you destroy the mask in that whatever it is that's going on, that's why at the end of the game, the mask is no longer possessed. Because you destroyed it. And in the case of the first deity mask, you literally annihilate it. Hence the ending, that the mask is no longer possessed by anything evil. So because of that ending, actually, that's why was already sure when I played that at 12 that this whole ending sequence was not necessarily a dream, but minimum was possessing the mask, trying to possess Link. And Link just say, bye-bye, you dead. If we resume. But nonetheless, if we're talking about the kind of moon that there is in Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild, that was all red.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I think it's interesting though. You brought up the technical limitations earlier, right? Because as you said, like developers with far more powerful hardware don't think they could pull off Tears of the Kingdom with far more powerful hardware, and so imagine what Nintendo can do with far more powerful hardware, right?
No, that's what I'm saying. I started it all with saying what was their reaction at the beginning, and they had access with the Series S as 8 times the power already, and with the PS5 on the case of Sony dev, because even Sony's dev were impressive, or finding that impressive. Then they have like 12 times the power or something. Like it's unbelievable.
What the Zelda team's about to do with this power is going to be.
God bless you.
Thank you.
They're about to put
can't stop
other development studios to shame. Like, wow, what the things they're going to do with the physics, the things they're going to do with the gameplay elements, it's going to be awesome.
It all depends if Fujibayashi is as much of a genius as he is, but like. It started well, because basically he did 5 games right now. He did the 2 Oracles, that was a unique concept that they never tried again, which means multiple games that you can play in this order, and the last part of the game was basically completely adaptive to whichever game you started with. After that, they did Yankee good, perfect. I'm very soon to finish. So after that,
I feel like a dick, but I'm like, hey,
it's
before we run out.
It's fine. It's fine. The technical aspect was basically finished, but I was just saying the last part of the argument is, does Fujibayashi will impress us? Well, it depends. Like I said, Oracles. After that, he did Minish Cap. Minish Cap is basically half randomized because of all the rewards you get in Total Disorder. Then there was Skyward Sword, that was mostly linear, but always big on all kinds of puzzle. Then he did the Revolution with Breath of the Wild, and then he decided to do, let's just let the people build anything and everything everywhere, and have buttloads of puzzle on top that use those things. Just for us. So basically, 5 games, all very, very different from each other. And the only thing that is a bit similar is between Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild, where he kind of missed the point of the sequels aspect of it. But beside that, they are indeed a bit too much also in the same kind of style. But like, that's the only 2 games that are a bit similar. The rest he has done are so absurdly different, it's insane. So, IDs wise, I'm pretty sure we're in for some kind of roller coaster the next time.
I can't wait. The only thing we know for sure is it will be open air, because they said they're continuing that. So,
but what kind? So moon, planets? I don't know, right? But maybe.
Who the hell knows what this guy's got cooking? I can't wait.
I'm leaving because it's at the end of my turn, so I'm leaving. Bye. Was a pleasure.
Love you, Charles.
Later, Charles. All right.
I forgot I was muted.
We got, I think Jakey's on his way.
Jake.
I'm going to take this opportunity to check my oven.
Sounds like an idea. I am jealous. I'm very jealous. There's like no food in my house right now. I gotta somehow get to the grocery store tomorrow with no car. I will figure it out. I just don't want to DoorDash it in. Such a waste of money. Like double how much everything costs. Let's see here. So if you have the app downloaded, you should just be able to tap on the link. Once you have the app open, tap on the link from Joycie, and it should load up. Like we have Jakey coming in. This is the person, right? Yep.
I think Andre went to grab something. If you guys are, I think he's coming back, right?
I assume he's coming back. But that's all right.
He usually says goodbye.
I
He's
barely.
not coming back.
What?
Hey, Jakey. Andre will be back. He had to go get food.
And
God.
lowered him. Uh-oh. He must not
Really,
use the app.
StreamYards?
Must not
No,
use
I
the
think he did. He said he was going to download it.
app. Oh, okay. All right, we'll give him 1 moment. We'll give him 1 moment. Okay. All right. 1 moment.
I'll tell him to try again.
Obviously, guys, it'd be a lot easier if you guys just have laptops or something. I know not everybody does. Let's try this again.
Time.
One more time, right? One more time.
Hey, Jakey.
Hello.
All right, what's the question?
Mustache is on point, bro.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
And boom. Just enough time to compliment the stash, baby. Just enough time to compliment the stash.
StreamYards, you're making me look bad. Well, hold on. Let me ask him what his question was.
Yeah, we can at least get the question in. For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Let me just ask him what his question or comment
And
is. So then we can at least talk
we're
about that.
still doing super chats for shots and all that stuff, and you guys can also get your questions in from the chat, doing it that way as well, as you guys saw earlier. And I keep staring at this because the bomb hot sauce keeps gathering at the bottom, and this scares me. It's that $100 shot, guys. This scares the hell out of me. I'm thinking when I was doing shots out of it before, I didn't mix it, and all the hot sauce went to the bottom.
Oh.
Oh boy. Oh boy. This is gonna be a fun one when next time I gotta do that. The co-host is pretty elite. It happens. I do apologize for the technical difficulties. Again, it's the first time we've ever done this, and it kind of sucks that we're having issues. It is what it is. I hope part
Especially
of it
since it normally works on anything else.
Everyone that comes in is always like when we do podcasts, they're always on a computer. So we don't deal with phones that much. So that's one thing. Like we know the computer stuff worked because everyone who's come on a computer has been fine. The app not working, that I have no idea. Since it was working fine for Andres. Obviously, if you guys want to call in, using a computer would be probably a better choice.
And I think Taurus is up next.
So.
I think Taurus is up next. And if this doesn't work, if StreamYard still doesn't want to act right, then we'll have you DM Nate. Just for tonight.
Yeah, you can still call. I just don't know if you'll be able to hear the other people talking. And I can't talk for some reason on Discord. It won't let me talk. It doesn't like me. Which is fine. But it doesn't like me. As long as we can hear that. I don't care if we do. Taurus! Well. Joycie, what's your favorite Zelda?
My favorite game?
Yeah.
A Link to the Past.
Why?
Forever. A Link to the Past. Let me tell y'all something. They say there is no such thing as a perfect game. That's a lie. A Link to the Past is the perfect game, and I'm going to tell y'all why. There is a little secret. There's always somebody to talk to. There's always a quest. There's always a dungeon. There's always a little bit of something to do. Okay. Are we still live?
Yeah, no, I added Taurus in to see if it's working.
So, and like I said, there's not a boring moment. There's not a dull moment. And still my favorite. Welcome back, sir. I hope you brought your pizza.
I'm sorry, I was being polite. I was letting her talk.
Taurus. No, yeah,
I
you're
think we're good now. I'm on the laptop
you're-
now. I'm good.
Oh,
Who are you talking to?
See,
Taurus.
the further proof. Laptop,
Hey.
all the problems. See, we can make this a requirement in the future too that people got to use laptops, not phones. That would probably make it easier. Anyways,
Or have the app.
or well, someone
The
was
app
just
won't work.
and they were still crashing out.
It
So
worked for me.
maybe it's because you're on Wi-Fi. Maybe people aren't on Wi-Fi.
I don't know. Yeah.
Jakey's gonna send me his questions and comments, and we will discuss them.
Sounds good.
That's suave
When he sends it
Andres
to him.
touch.
We'll tweak.
Well, I'm just glad Taurus got in here because I think you've been like the most hyped for this stream.
Yes.
I have
All right.
been, yes.
Did I miss
absolutely.
any questions? What are we talking about?
Nothing. This is the one. Here we go.
All right, here we go.
What we got, Taurus?
Okay, first of all, I'm going to touch on what Joycie said about A Link to the Past. Now, all the dungeons
Yes.
are good. I did grow up with that game just like you did. Hell, I got the OG Zelda sitting on my shelf right now. But in terms of the best dungeon, I'm going to have to give it, it's rough, but I'm going to have to give it to Death Mountain. Because if you think about it in terms of difficulty, in terms of utility of all the things you get throughout the game, it really puts all those skills to the test. So
Which
it makes it a Link to the Past.
Oh, okay.
And Death
that's my
Mountain is
argument
very
on it.
good.
Yeah.
It's very good. Very good.
Now, I hate to jump on the talk train, but I guess I'm going to since everybody else has been doing it so far.
Do you
Right,
think,
Here's
brother?
here's
Sorry,
my
I'm
thing.
resetting the timer for you. My bad. You're good.
I don't know why people are crying about story. We got more story in this game than we did in Breath of the Wild. We got more lore in this game. What was disappointing to me is that when you start off in that game and you're going through your different regions, you're getting the same cutscene 4 times, and that's
Oh wait,
killer.
guys, real quick. Let me tell you about the imprisoning war. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Wow,
I
that
have
was
to-
random.
I have to interrupt everything. I have to remind everybody about the imprisoning war.
I won't let you forget it, okay?
I'm
But
sorry,
it's
Taurus,
the
honey. Go ahead.
Same cutscene 4 times. I would have preferred if at least they would have tailored it to the regions they were in. That would have made it a lot more interesting. Like, give me some Gerudo background. Give me some, Zora
Right.
background. Touch up a little bit more. And
Yeah,
yes,
like what if
also,
we got a cutscene about like the system, the witches, Kotaka and Koeme, right? Like that would have been cool. Or you know what? Don't even hire another voice actor. Just give us more of I don't know who was the maybe just Gandalf talking to like different Gerudo people in his own palace, right? And just like showing some of the internal like issues that may be going on there, right? The conflicting two sides, right? The Gerudo people who are good versus the Gerudo people who are like, no, let's take over the world. Like that would have been a cool option for that side, right?
that would have been
Sorry, I just wanted to hit the button.
But I feel like Nintendo's missing a lot of opportunities here. How cool would it be to have DLC for Tears of the Kingdom post game beaten, and then you can go, like, for example, throw us a DLC that explains what happened to the Sheikah stuff, or just dive in a little bit backwards that way. There's just so much that Nintendo could be racking up on. I don't know why they feel like they just had to stop right there and said this is good enough. There's no DLC.
Well,
Say it again, Taurus.
I'm talking about what Tears of the Kingdom could be versus where it is now, because
Okay.
it does have that. Once again, like everybody else playing devil's advocate, it's a great game. It built upon what Tears of the Kingdom did, but it still has that sameness to it. You're still going to the quote dungeons. You're still hitting the 5 switches. You're still making your way through it. It's just labeled a dungeon and it looks a lot better. But there's that sameness, and I think that's where a lot of the arguments of people coming in, they're like, about Tears of the Kingdom. Yeah, they cried about the story, but people who are into the lore got a lot more out of this than they did the last game.
Well, they had the option to, but a lot of people don't feel that way. I'll say that, you know, the sameness issue, right? If you want to call it an issue, right? It's a design choice, you know, that you may or may not be a fan of, but that is the reason why there's not DLC. Because DLC would be more of that. What some people are kind of complaining that we have too much of already, right? Nintendo, the Zelda team's basically telling you, hey, yeah, we feel the same way. We loved it. We're not ready for the next thing. And so they're moving on to the next thing. And maybe it's not so much, oh, can we? Because of course they can. But, you know, at the end of the day, these are creative people, right? They have their own visions. And so maybe their vision is, hey, look, we did what we wanted to with Tears of the Kingdom, right? Not what they could, because there's always potential for more, right? There's no Zelda game in existence that you can't tell me there's nothing they could have added. Of course, but you do have to at some point make a decision on when to stop. And so they made their decision. They gave us a $70 game that's bigger than any other Zelda game in history. It even makes Breath of the Wild look kind of small by comparison, right? When you really account for all the things you can do. And they're now just cut cold turkey, right? And just moving on to the next thing.
It's a double-edged sword when you think about it. Nintendo, as long as they always put gameplay first, everybody's always going to complain about something in the story in some Zelda game. But at the same time, if you flip it on its head and go, well, if Nintendo focused on story, would we lose that magic that we always have when we play a Zelda game? Will that get cheated somehow because they chose to put story first?
Not for me.
I mean, we kind of put story first in Skyward Sword, but that was obviously a very linear game, which allowed them to. I mean, linear games are just easier to go super deep with story on because you control where the player's going all the time.
Yeah. I mean, I personally, you know, I honestly feel like Tears of the Kingdom is the best possible direction they could have gone. Like, I'm actually excited for the future of Zelda because everything that they've done has been kind of what I've personally anticipated. And so I just see them continue to moving in that direction, but I think it's a good direction. I think they took, like, a lot of people have complained about the story, but they did take steps to improve the story in a lot of ways, right? That they actually did that. They added more variety to the dungeons. They added more variety to the, and like they kind of, like, a lot of things people asked for, like Joycie brought this up earlier. A lot of things a lot of people asked for in Breath of the Wild, they did do in Tears of the Kingdom. Maybe not enough to what some Zelda fans wanted, but they did show that they are moving in a lot of these directions. They're finding ways to combine some of the tropes from prior Zelda games even better to the open air format, but they are moving further in that direction, right? And so I anticipate the next Zelda game will probably have an even better story than Tears of the Kingdom, have even better ways of adventuring and interacting with the world, and more variety and more density. They're going to find a way to continue to make that better. And there's going to be more Zelda tropes, but it is also going to be its own thing.
Mm-hmm.
Sure. Absolutely.
I agree. I would agree with Andres.
Yeah. Like the biggest thing is obviously assuming they don't do memories again, how they're going to handle a majority of the cutscenes. And that's what because I think they're going to leave the memories to these games. I think they did the memories again because they just feel like that was a core part of how they built up Breath of the Wild. They kept the same theme, did the same thing, except it was Zelda's memories this time instead of Link's memories. Fine. And so I think the next game is going to do away with that and have a completely different way they're going to handle it. And that's what I'm really excited for, is to see, all right, we saw what you did with your first couple cracks in open world, and you stayed with like a very similar story beat, even though Tears of the Kingdom did do some cool things, like added multiple main quest lines, which was awesome because there's a lot of extra story you could get by going down all those quest lines. But also, I think that they learned from that and they realized, okay, now we have new ideas and new ways we want to tell the story. I think the biggest thing with story for this next game is going to have to be how much are they going to care? Because they keep saying we build our game and we add the story later. But if you're going to have that cohesive story through the whole game, you can't do that. You got to keep the story in mind as you build the world. And if you don't, it's easy to tack memories on after the fact. But if you want it to actually be cohesive throughout your experience, or more cohesive like other games, then you have to actually consider the story while designing the game. And that is something that the Zelda team apparently has never, at least the current team has never done, because they keep saying, we just build out the world and the mechanics and everything, and then we throw the story on. And it's like, well, you can't do that in an open world without, like, memories are an easy way to tack a story on. But now we don't want it to feel like tacked on. We want it to feel like it's more organic in the world. And maybe, I mean, look, that could be literally one of Hubiyashi's ideas for the next game. It's, hey, I have an idea for, like, not just mechanics and gameplay. Like, I actually have a story direction I want to go. And if he already has that, then that's already going to be there at the very beginning of development. And we obviously don't know. So,
I mean, one cool thing is that, Tears of the Kingdom does have a little bit of that, right? Like, there are cutscenes that happen throughout your adventure that are not in the past and are not the beginning and the end.
In the present. Yep.
Yeah. So
they definitely played around with it. And so I kind of think like they're just going to go all in. Sure. I think the seeds of it are there.
And one more thing I wanted to jump in and say really quick. Oh, excuse me. Sorry, guys. Damn. To your point, though. I don't want to cut off his time. He says he has another question.
Sure.
So go ahead, Taurus.
Yep. Get your question, and we'll keep talking while we set up the next person.
All right. So to touch up on what you said, yeah, I think if they put in memories, it's going to be burnout because they've used the same Hyrule twice. And yes, they added a lot more this time around, but going with the samey mechanic and the samey kind of Hyrule, it's going to burn people out. I think if they want to keep the open world and give it a fresh coat of paint, give me more than Hyrule. There are other kingdoms and other lands out there to explore. Expand that open world. Give me the actual world. You want to blow up lore and everything else at the same time? Give me the world.
That would
be,
that world, that Zelda 2 map.
And here's the thing. They can get rid of all these expectations of like Rito Village and Death Mountain because there's so much more in the Zelda world. Like if you actually follow the whole lore, there's a much grander world out there than just Hyrule. It would be really cool if like that is one of the ideas. It's like, hey, we're going beyond, and people aren't really not going to know what to expect this time, which would be crazy. I would love that.
Crazy.
Yeah,
they do that once in a while. Like Majora's Mask was one of the times that they did that, where it was a completely different world. Like. That would be so cool, man.
Imagine if you can sail to Termina, or you can sail to some of the other places, some of these other kingdoms and things like that. And not only that, it could be optional stuff, or it could be story related. But either way, it would just be cool to have the world.
I like that idea though about optional like areas to explore. Like it would be cool if there were multiple storylines, and there is not just necessarily one ending, but maybe several. That can all happen concurrently, or like the lead up to each one can happen concurrently. What were you gonna say, Joycie?
I was gonna say real quick because I know we gotta go. But to everybody's point about the memories, as enjoyable as they were, when I say real time, I think about like maybe Ocarina of Time. We saw Impa taking Zelda away on a horse when Ganon came. We saw what transpired, what the world went on as we were sleeping and we pulled the Master Sword. We got to feel that twist the first time when we found out, spoiler alert, if you don't know, Sheik is Zelda. We got to feel that in real time. Oh, Nate, I'm sorry. That's right. You forget the ending of Ocarina of Time all the time. So here's the thing. Do I need to go sit in the corner now? Am I in timeout?
Back. Don't you go dying on me.
That is savage. For those who don't know,
you made that man walk away.
For those who don't know, a couple different times in the past, Nate has engaged in discussion or debate where he forgot the ending of the game, and that's what led to the debate.
Nate, I love you, my best friend. Please come back.
Even if you beat it 100 times, unless you dive into it, you're never gonna understand.
Oh Lord, he brought the bomb.
ending.
Oh my God.
Thank you so much for calling in tonight, Taurus. We're
Great
sorry to
job.
rush you. It's just that
We actually have more requests than we thought we were going to have. But I do agree with
It's
with
all
what you said
good.
about the memories. I totally agree with you.
This is like going really well outside of the technical difficulties. We'll definitely do something like this again, and we'll just be more prepared next time to tell people, "Hey, computers, please." We'll make it a requirement next time.
Appreciate you guys having me. You guys take care.
Thank
You
you,
too,
Taurus.
Taurus.
Much love.
Hi,
Now,
Taurus.
before we go to Samus Aran, who's going to be calling in next, we wanted to
Samus!
Oh, he's excited.
breathe, baby, breathe. I wanted to get to Jakey's question because he tried to call in and StreamYard just wants to just make our lives hell. And he was the one with the fabulous mustache.
Yes.
And his question was,
are fabulous mustaches on this channel? I love it.
You know, there are a lot of fabulous mustaches on this channel. I agree with that. So his comment was, I think Zelda side quests would benefit if they dove a little into what Souls games do. You meet someone during the adventure and they move around from point to point as you advance the story. You get to learn about them and their story longer than a simple fetch quest and whatnot. I like that. Y'all done played Souls games. What y'all think?
No, I like that a lot. I think they kind of do that already in Tears of the Kingdom, but maybe not enough.
I feel like it's kind of like that with Terrytown in Breath of the Wild, when you and Addison have you and Hudson have this friendship and everything, and you're helping him literally build the town.
Yeah.
And then you get to be at his wedding.
Well, there's one cool character. I forget his name, so maybe he's not that cool. But the guy where you're helping to build the signs, right?
That's Addison. That's who I was confusing
There you
earlier.
go, right? Like there's not much story behind him unless there's something that happens when you do every single sign. I haven't done every single sign yet, but like you kind of meet him throughout your adventure at different points. It would be cool if like they had a little bit of like a story arc to him as well. Like that would be neat. So I do like the idea of having side characters that you meet at different points of the world, and as certain events occur, you maybe meet them at different points and there's something else different to say, or there's something else kind of going on with them. So a lot more of that I think would definitely help a lot, for sure.
Cool beans.
I do enjoy beans.
I love beans. They're the magical fruit. The more you eat,
the
better gut. The better gut health you have. Anywho, Samus. Thank you, Nate.
Wow, I haven't
not a
eaten my
recording.
pizza yet, just for the record.
That could have been from earlier this day. I don't know what you're doing.
I've already been on the record for saying I've only eaten a granola bar.
Oh crap! Did I even send him the link?
Oh no,
guys! I'm so sorry. I have like a bunch of requests coming in, so I got lost.
I'm gonna have to check my pizza soon.
Please do.
Yeah, don't
We don't
burn
want
it.
anybody starving.
I've had some burnt pizza many times in my life. Not enjoyable.
No, it's not fun. No, I have a timer on my phone.
Oh, okay.
It may still need more time after this as well. So it's just
You know,
like,
you know what I did to fix it? Because sometimes I'd ignore the timer because I'm busy. I got a pizzazz. It just shuts off.
that makes sense. But for me, my timer is my belly.
Your timer in your belly. So he said he set a timer. He's like, my belly's just grumbling.
Samus, if you're in the chat, which I'm sure you are, I just sent you the link, and I'm sorry, love, I completely just spaced, and I didn't send it to you before.
All right.
And if he doesn't get in quick enough, Paul Gale has a couple
Paul
words.
Gale's network.
Has
I
a
know
couple
he can
words
go.
to say on
He
this
did.
subject.
We do these workout streams every single Monday. I know he can get up in here. Here we go. There he is. Aaron Rass, how's it going, buddy?
What's up, buddy?
How you doing? Andre will be back. He had to
going
go
with his phone. Oh no! Aaron, you gotta join with the computer, buddy. We've been having these issues. Computer. As soon as I saw him going like this, I was like, "Oh, it's a phone."
He said he doesn't have a computer. I told him to try the app, and we will try it.
And
just try one more time.
Maybe. I wonder if there's a TV yet.
I don't have a computer.
All right, that's okay. I know. I'm sorry.
Hey there, Aaron.
I don't control the technologies. Aaron, try calling on my Discord. I don't know. I don't even know if that's gonna work because I can't do my
Wait,
audio.
he came on for a second. It worked for a second. What happened?
Yeah, he's trying again.
My wife has a computer.
Oh, well, maybe that's the solution.
He comes in, just hey, just let me let you know.
Hey, just so you know, my wife has a computer, so maybe he's trying to be like, 1 second, let me go bother my wife to get the computer. Been there, man. I'm so sorry that phones are just not an option right now. I don't know what's going on. I'm gonna reach out to
unless it's my phone, apparently.
Yeah, I'm gonna reach out to Streamlabs after this and find out like what's going on if it's a known issue, because I've used phones before to join and never had a problem. So I want to make sure that they're even aware, because they're a pretty small development team, that they're even aware that this is a problem, because they clearly changed something probably when they launched the app that
I'm so excited.
Messing everything up. For your pizza?
Yeah.
What kind?
I'm excited for you.
It's very basic pepperoni pizza.
Dude, I would devour a pepperoni pizza right now.
Oh
man.
yeah. But by the way, someone asked, "Is it cauliflower pizza?" It's not. That feels random, but I actually have eaten cauliflower pizza even recently, and it's pretty darn good. Yeah. So, but maybe you got to get it at the right place. Cauliflower pizza is actually pretty cool.
Or did they mean cauliflower crust?
Is that a thing?
Yes, cauliflower crust. I think it cuts the calories.
Interesting.
Uh-oh. Let's see if it
Hey.
Yeah. Okay.
And no.
And
no.
no.
Yeah, the phone thing,
Bruh.
man, sucks.
I told Samus if you Samus, if you can hear me, I'm sure you can. You're probably listening on to the stream. Feel free
Samus,
to send.
hold on. All right.
Oh,
It's a guy
That's fine.
who's married. Oh, okay. Hey,
But Sam, seriously, DM me your question or comment, and we are happy to discuss on camera. This
I
was
do.
not supposed to happen.
It's like computers only.
We are so sorry. But Paul is probably coming in next.
He's right here.
Hey.
See, I know Paul's got a
Paul.
computer.
Oh, hell, network. No,
Oh,
he's a Power Ranger.
I got it today. Remember I told you about
oh
it?
my! You're the
That was
Green Ranger.
awesome.
Get out of here! Oh,
hold
no!
on, my pizza's dying. I gotta save my pizza like a Power Ranger.
go get the
Let me
pizza,
get my
Andre.
going.
How's it going?
Hey, Paul.
Good night so
I don't know.
far.
I don't know if you've heard of this game called The Legend of Zelda, but it's pretty neat. It's on Nintendo.
Yeah.
Do you have any thoughts on this niche little game?
I love it so much that that's my daughter's middle name.
Hey,
Oh,
that's
there it
what's
is.
up.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know if I
Yeah,
can
it's not her first name, so let's be honest. How much do you love it?
it was one of the top contenders, but
It's all right. You can't. You got to make sure you're pleasing the other half. All right.
right. Yeah, it's been a good night. It's been cool hearing everybody. I did, by the way, have earphones on, and they were connected to my iPhone, but then Joycie said I use the computer, so
Yeah. All people trying to call in tonight, please, computers. The phones are clearly not working. I'm going to get a hold of their customer support so they're aware. I don't even think they're aware that phones are broken right now because they literally were working last week. So
They're working earlier in the stream.
Whatever. Anywho, Paul, we want to hear your thoughts.
Well, I have a question because I've been playing a couple of games lately that feel very different than Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, and it makes me realize just how spoiled, particularly Breath of the Wild, made me over the last, several years. Just how intricate the world is, how awesome the physics are, everything is tangible, still looks good, the art direction is still terrific, but knowing that Nintendo Switch's successor is going to be a lot more powerful, I kind of have two different things that I want you to vote on. What would you rather have between these two? A bigger world than Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, right? Let's say double the size. Nintendo goes crazy. It's a different map. There's got some water exploration, everything, but since it is so big, even on beefier hardware. Nintendo goes the let's make it a big intricate world approach with physics engine, gliding abilities, multiple things going on, and it only looks a little bit better visually as a result. Or, Nate, you know what I'm talking about, the 2011 E3 Zelda video. We get that one. We get that hyper realistic, or even not realistic, but extremely high fidelity visual graphics where every little nook and cranny is felt. And it's just an immersive visual experience. Not that Nintendo skimps out on the physics in this scenario, but it's a much smaller map. Like, it's smaller than Breath of the Wild. It's a beautiful game, but just from that size perspective, would you rather have the bigger size and just a little bit better graphics, or smaller than Breath of the Wild, but it looks dynamite? For all three of you.
I'll take a smidge smaller
and
better graphics.
Yeah.
I mean, how could you not? It would be the thing that makes it stand out. Look, because like world size alone doesn't make a game great. Because if you think about like how they couldn't really make Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom denser than they were, or at least they didn't. Imagining a world twice as big as that is just going to be like twice as less dense to me, probably. So I feel like it'd be better if they made the world a smidge smaller, and then if that's what enables them to go with like the Zelda Wii U tech demo, but even better today style, that would just be like, I mean, you saw the best selling Zelda is 30 mil, right? This might be a 60 mil game. That's the kind of math appeal that would have. That appeal would be huge.
Yeah.
No, for sure. I agree. I'm gonna be very selfish and just say I want my cake and eat it too, right? So it's gonna be bigger. The graphics are gonna be mind blowing. The physics are gonna be mind blowing. It's gonna have the best story, the best combat, the best dungeons. It's gonna have it all. And why? Because the Zelda team is the best developer in history, and they're gonna be using the most powerful hardware they've ever used ever by an extremely large margin, and they're going to have like 7 years to make it because Nintendo is you know, they'll take their sweet time with it. But if I had to pick, right, I do think that maybe a slightly smaller world that enables them to kind of just focus a little bit more would be good. But I'll also say that I think they can make a world that feels bigger, but it's technically smaller. Easily.
Okay.
Right? More variety and more things to do and more different varying locales and characters can really do a good job of making us think there's more than there actually is, right? In terms of volume, right? In terms of surface area. Because like there's a lot of sprawling green hills and those are nice, but if there was 20% less sprawling green hills and like 6 more towns, people would be like, whoa, that game with 6 more towns is what has way more going on, right? So, you know. But yeah, we're gonna get everything. It's gonna be the greatest game ever made. You'll see.
I love the confidence. This is great.
Unless Metroid Prime, 4 and 5 beat it out.
Well, by that point, we're talking about Metroid Prime 5. So,
But what I mean is, what if it's better?
That's fine. That's fine.
Right?
That's fine.
You're not going to complain if Metroid Prime is a better game. I don't think that's going to be a problem.
Listen, this is how it is. Like, Metroid Prime 4 is going to be the best game ever. Then 3D Mario is going to also maybe be the best game ever. We're going to bait it for like 2 years, and then they're going to make the Xenoblade MMO, and then that's going to be the best game ever. And then Nintendo's going to announce the next Zelda, and we're like, oh my god, is that going to be the best game ever? And then it's going to come out, and some people are going to be like, man, the story sucks. And then people are like, oh, the story's actually really good. And then that's going to be the best game ever. And then Metroid Prime 5 is going to come out. And that's going to be the best game ever.
A decade from now, we get a Pokemon game that has its shit together. And then we're going to be like, holy shit, is this the best game ever? They finally took some fucking time and made a proper one.
Yeah. I think, sometimes we like to say, oh, this is the best game, this is the best game. I think games are just good for different reasons. Like Smash Ultimate's amazing, but, the games are just good for different reasons. And so Metroid Prime, Mario, Zelda, Pokemon, Kirby, they're all What if Star Fox becomes the best game ever? Open world Star Fox.
What about the next 3D Kirby game, baby?
What about open world 3D Donkey Kong Tarzan style? That could be the best game ever.
Y'all are nuts. You're hyping irresponsibly now.
Am I? Listen, I have the infinity of history to wait on these things to come true. So we'll see.
Paul, can you ask your question one more time? I was answering messages. I'm so
I'll
sorry.
get my pizza.
Yeah,
Joyce, I
Andres,
never
go get
heard
food.
your response. Never got a chance. Would you rather okay, is that 3 minutes left?
3 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go. Would you rather a game comparable a little bit smaller than Breath of the Wild in terms of its map, like, I don't know, call it a 20% reduction in map, but the graphics are absolutely wild. If you know what the E3 2011 demo looked like of Zelda, it's like that on steroids. I mean, not necessarily super realistic. It's Nintendo's own art style, but it's just phenomenal. Every texture, every lighting detail is soaking up Nintendo Switch 2's power. Still has the physics engine and all that, just a much better looking game and smaller. Or a massive world, a couple of times larger than Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom, with more to do in terms of, okay, it's got water exploration and whole new world outside of Hyrule, all that kind of stuff. But it only looks a little bit marginally better than Breath of the Wild because, it's in the Hyrule resolution and stuff like that, but only a little bit better because that development time went to making this bigger game than something smaller and better looking.
Here's the thing. I don't see Nintendo doing that.
Which one?
I don't see them doing, I'm sorry, what I mean is I don't see them putting out anything that can't stretch the entire, basically just almost break the limits of whatever the system it is. I can't see them doing that. They took a year to polish Tears of the Kingdom. They knew it worked. It was working fine, but they polished it, until it basically glistened. So my main concern, I'm not big on graphics. I've raved about it all year long. All of 2023. Octopath Traveler was one of my favorite games of the year. I'm about to replay it again. It's so good, and it's really, really good SNES graphics, right? Really good SNES graphics. It's that 2D HD 2D thing. So I'm not big on graphics, but all I want from my Zelda is be good, be a good game, okay? Be interesting. Give me lots of dungeons. Give me a lot of stuff to do. Make it feel like the game doesn't have to end, which is one of the positive things I actually like about Tears of the Kingdom. That game can be as long as you really want it to be. Hence why I'm going through it for the second time. I'm going like so slow. I'm picking up every rock. I'm looking at every rock.
I'll eat more slices later.
Nice
That's
pizza.
Pizza is
That
sexy.
looks so good right now.
So to answer your question, Paul,
Fasting today.
Is this
Oh my
disgusting if I eat it
No.
on camera?
No.
Are you sure?
no, it's not.
Yeah, it's
No.
not mukbang. You're fine.
It's fine. But to answer your question, Paul, I don't really care because
Don't mind
whatever
doing it.
Nintendo,
You have confidence
Whatever
that will make a good game regardless.
exactly, bigger, smaller, whatever, it's gonna be packed. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be Zelda. I'm gonna be excited. Yeah.
I'm so excited. I just
And I just can't hide it.
Hell yeah. Well, thank you so much, Paul Gale.
Cool. Thanks. That was fun talking.
Yeah. Catch you later, man.
See you all
Later.
Bye, man.
Yeah, that was Paul Gale, friend of the channel.
All right, guys, and we have another good friend of ours, Skyward Alyssa. She is going
Let's
to
go.
come hang out with us for a bit. I just sent her the link. So she said she's not sure about her headset, but if she has to switch, she of course will.
That's okay. We also have echo cancellation on our side. That's one thing that actually works very well in this app is the echo cancellation.
Oh wow, something is working.
Yeah. I don't know about Andres. Do you know that about the echo cancellation? It works really well when people don't have headphones.
We've talked about it.
Yeah. I've had to turn it on a few times
well.
when I hear stuff. Then I turn it off, and all of a sudden that and background noise.
I guess I haven't thought of. I always recommend people wear a headset because
But when people don't have it, it's really cool because I can go in here and I can edit the settings, and then I can literally just turn it all on, and it actually works really well. I'm actually
as long
surprised.
as our volume's not too loud, it probably works.
Yeah, because what you do is you go to the edit mic settings, then you can do echo cancellation, you can reduce mic background noise, and you can automatically adjust their mic volume, and that pretty much fixes all the problems. It's great.
And while Skyward Alyssa is on her way, Samus Aaron, Andre's favorite person, just messaged me and said, wanted to say just wanted to say thanks and hi to you and Andres and Nate. Also, ask Andres Restart who Sheik was in the Zelda games.
Oh, well, she's a ninja. I mean, he's a ninja.
I know what the canon says, but I like it's not that I didn't know. It's not that I knew Sheik was Zelda. It's just that I was like, that has to be. So I never really thought of her as him. If that makes sense.
What's funny for me is that when I was a kid, I did not realize Sheik was a girl, right? And so I just thought Sheik was like this super wise, powerful ninja.
I'm not gonna lie, when I found out that Zelda was Sheik, it was such a badass moment. And I was like, I'm like 12, 13, teenage years, and I'm just like, dude,
everything at that age makes you giggity.
Like, dude, that's like the dream. A badass. Hell yeah.
Everything at that age is giggity.
Yeah,
everything.
Everything at that age, literally.
And take at least decent care of yourself. When you hit 40, it gets really giggity.
Dude, you get in a snowball fight and someone's holding the right size ones, and you're just like, what is happening right now? This isn't. Sorry, we have lots of snowball fights over every winter.
Oh, I thought you meant.
Yeah. I know what you thought I meant.
I don't know what's going on.
It's even worse when you drive by people's houses and they make snowmen and then they really make accentuated parts, and you're like, okay, now, come on. People are driving. There's children walking by. Come on.
Andres is eating. We're terrifying him.
No, I'm good. I'm just, I don't even know what's going on. I'm just.
Okay, good.
He's so like his pizza right now. He's like, dude, it's like the greatest pizza I've ever had right now.
When you're hungry.
Oh, I know. It fucking, I know. And I'm fasting today. All I got is water. So
I had dinner early, so I'm probably gonna have a bowl of cereal. Just something to fill you up.
That's a good idea. Cereal just never fills me. It's always like, oh well, I was done. Maybe I should eat more.
I always I eat stuff like Cheerios and all that whole grain stuff. Just like a little bowl. And
we got our next person ready.
Because I can't sleep when I'm hungry.
Right. Is this Alyssa, aka the Zelda nerd?
Yeah.
Hi.
Yeah.
Hey, what's up, Alyssa? I love your sweater.
Thank you. Oh, to the side.
On that side.
Yeah, it's nice.
Nice.
Yes.
I'm still here, but I gotta go grab something.
The puzzle frames.
Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. I think I still have the stream open and it's confusing me.
Yeah, that happens. Yeah.
Just put it on mute.
Okay. All right. Better now. So sorry.
Yeah, you're fine. What do you want to talk about?
Okay. Well, I know you don't really replay games that much, Nate, but I wanted to know what Zelda game you guys do replay the most. If you do replay them, or if you would replay it, why you would go back to it.
I'm still here. A Link to the Past. A Link to the Past. Gotta get this.
A Link to the Past.
Wind Waker and Ocarina of Time are my most replayed Zelda games. Ocarina of Time because it's the GOAT. Wind Waker just because it's not as long as other Zelda games, and you could argue that's kind of an issue, but I actually kind of like how it's just all it's a really well-paced Zelda game, and when you're done, you can just go right back in. It just flows really well.
So the one I've probably replayed the most ever all time is probably Zelda 2. It was my favorite Zelda game for a long time. Until Breath of the Wild came out.
That's
but I haven't played through that one in probably a decade now. It's probably the longest I played through. I've got 3 playthroughs in Breath of the Wild. My original playthrough, then my first master mode run, then the final one I did before Tears of the Kingdom came out. I don't even have a second run in Tears of the Kingdom yet. I think if I want to go with something a bit more modern than something that came out when I was basically a baby, then Wind Waker is probably the one I've replayed the most. I played through it probably 4 times when I was a kid. That was always my go-to whenever there was bad shit going on. And then Wind Waker HD, I know that for some reason I beat it 3 times. I don't really understand why, because I don't replay games, but I just kept doing it.
It was pretty
I know why.
So.
The Wii U sucked.
I own every Wii U exclusive and beat all of them. Why would I specifically choose that one to keep replaying?
Because there wasn't that many Wii U exclusives.
I liked my Wii U.
I
love my Wii U. I have the Zelda Wii U.
With the fact we keep Wii U games every year until
Hey, listen. I may have just said the Wii U sucked.
Wait, what's the best selling game on Switch?
Here. My hand is on my Wii U. I have not given up on it.
What is the best selling game on Wii U again? I believe on Switch. It's the best selling game on Switch. I believe it's a Wii U game. Is it not?
Yeah. Well, no, I'm not saying the Wii U had bad games. I'm saying the Wii U didn't have enough.
Didn't have a lot, but I didn't replay all the other ones.
Right.
So why Wind Waker? Wind Waker is not even technically a Wii U game. It's GameCube.
Yeah, but you played it a lot of them. I'm just making a joke, man.
I know. You're just razzing me. It's all right. I'm just throwing shit back. Oh,
you did. You
pissed off. Made her run away.
Or maybe I pissed off.
It comes back and she's like, I'm out. I can't handle. There's too much of this lipstick going on. Too many pairs of glasses running around. She's like, I'm out of here.
My lipstick is fabulous.
She couldn't handle me and Andres going at each other. I don't know.
I told her to come back real quick. Funny story.
We ruined our segment by arguing with each other.
Real quick. Funny story. There was a time in my life where I thought I could not wear red.
Making me agitated.
There was a time in my life where I thought I couldn't wear red lipstick because my lips were too big.
All right, you guys.
It's okay.
4 minutes.
You do you.
We know we're having technical difficulties. We know shit broke.
Well, I'm using my
girlfriend.
MacBook that's like 10 years old. I have like a MacBook Air.
Hey,
old one.
It's working better than the phones today. So
the job done.
Yep.
Yeah.
So what else you want to talk about, Melissa?
I was wondering if you guys think we should get another Toon Link game.
No.
No.
Hell yeah.
No.
Minish Cap remake.
Dude, I love Toon Link so much. Like, look, it doesn't make sense to do it today because of where Zelda is currently.
Makes sense.
Man, at one point they wanted to make a full home console sequel to Wind Waker. I know we got Phantom Hourglass, and that wasn't the original plan, man. They were gonna go all out on another console, and we just never got it. It's never gonna happen. Besides a remake of like Minish Cap, it's just never really gonna happen.
I will play a remake of any of the Toon Link games. I don't think they need to remake Wind Waker. I think the HD version's perfect. Spirit Tracks, Phantom Hourglass, and Andre keeps saying Minish Cap, so I agree with that as well. But where Zelda is now, I agree with Nate. I think that will just piss off the audience.
I'll love it though.
Yeah.
I'll love it. I'll be smiling all the way to the end as the only
What
person.
kind of art direction do you think they're gonna take?
Please, Wii U tech demo. I'm
Everyone-
going to die on this hill until we do it.
What if that's the remaster we get? We get the Twilight Princess Wii U tech
In the Wii U
demo
tech demo.
for
I don't
the
care if it's a
Switch
remake.
2
I don't care if it's new. I don't care if it's remake. I don't care if it's new. I don't care. Give me Wii U tech demo graphics. I thought that was just the perfect amount of realism and still fantasy. That was perfect. I need it in my life. As much as I hate spiders, fine. Just let
That's
Goma
the most
just chase
beautiful
me around.
spider I've ever seen.
Just let it chase me around. I'm down
I
with
would
it.
hug that spider.
We need to play that again, just so the.
Yeah.
Okay, for y'all who don't know what I'm talking about, please just look it up on YouTube. Open up another window and look it up on YouTube. You need it in your life. In fact,
Or
I
just
will
watch my
let's
videos
just-
or Nintendo Prime's video. We always find an excuse to put that in our videos. It looks so damn
Good point. Exactly. So I say we do a
It's not in
whole
the video. It's my
petition.
thumbnail.
Let's go petition, and let's go like outside, like Nintendo's, like up in Seattle, and let's just like go ham and beg for it if we have to.
What are we doing? Are we just gonna hold a bunch of monitors in the air, playing the video on repeat?
Yes.
This is
Everybody
what
bring their
we
tablet.
want.
Everybody bring their tablet. We're
Give her a
just
chance.
gonna do it.
We gotta find the employee parking. Every car that drives by, give us now.
Give us free. Anyway,
No.
and she said she was done,
Okay.
but it kept kicking her out.
That-
Thank
that's-
you so
that's
much
fine.
for
Yeah,
coming.
she was on a
Thank you-
really old computer, so I understand. Yeah.
Thank you so much for
Probably
calling
barely
in and
handle
talking
it.
to us, though.
Thank you for
I
the
just wanna
question.
say, to that point, though, I actually do think that if we're looking towards like what we should expect visually from the next Zelda, my expectation is something around Zelda U Tech demo style. Now, maybe not exactly that, but just like my opinion is we are going to go a little bit more realistic than Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, and that's kind of like I'm thinking something along the lines of the tech demo, something like that. But it'll look even better because that was technically a Wii U tech demo. Like,
So Paul Gill looks like he's tossing out a potential question on spin-offs, like Zelda 3D Fighter, Zelda RPG, or Hyrule Warriors 3.
oh, here's an idea: Soul Calibur with Link again. That's basically a Zelda 3D Fighter.
So since I don't like,
maybe give us more than Link. Give us Ganondorf.
see, Zelda RPG, I think is just too close to home. I've always wanted a sequel to the original Hyrule Warriors. I might be the only person. I don't know. I need Sia to come back.
You're not the only one.
And Linkle. I like them all. Bring them back. Oh. I don't look. People make fun of me for it. I just whatever. I don't like fighting games either, so it's not like that would be my choice.
I want a Zelda 2 reimagining Dark Souls style.
Ooh, that could work though.
Right.
I really think that could work. Real quick, I got a message from the Legend of Hyrule, and we're already discussing Zelda anyway. He unfortunately is not a member at the moment, but he did want us to ask. He said he and his boss were doing a Zelda fan show called The Rise of the Hero, and the outside will be like a Twilight Princess kind of Breath of the Wild style. And what would we like to see? And that show is 20 minutes for each episode. And he got permission from Nintendo, so it'll be on YouTube. I'm sorry, another. Yeah.
20-minute episodes. And what was the premise?
So it's going to be called The Rise of the Hero, and outside will be like Twilight Princess, kind of Breath of the Wild style, and what we would like to see in the show. I already wrote a script.
Zelink. Just go there.
We want some Z-League action.
Zelink, this is unofficial. Let's go all the way.
But he said he got permission from Nintendo, so I'm like,
so that you can put it on YouTube without getting claimed and in trouble. Yeah.
So you probably can't go all the way, but we could do PG. I'm okay with that. Have them hold hands.
It had to be a scene. We don't need to go to the bedroom. Just let's keep this. You can still be PG. Just have them kiss. They do that in PG all the time.
Does Nintendo ever claim like fan made like short films? I don't.
Yes, they have.
I don't think. Oh, they have. I've seen several.
Some of the bigger ones, but there was I can't remember which one it was. There was one that got a lot of pub and was shown in theaters, and then they had it on YouTube. And Nintendo's lawyers got involved. They were pretty pissed.
Well, I mean, maybe if it's
granted they put it in theaters, which was part of the problem. But
I mean, if it's on YouTube, I don't know. I just
they literally it's not on YouTube anymore. It's completely shut down. Nintendo.
But you know what's kind of messed up about that? Y'all remember the big fake out of who was it? IGN that did the Majora's Mask.
The April Fool's joke. Yep.
Yeah. First of all,
no. There's two different things. There's a Zelda movie trailer that was the IGN April Fool's thing, and then there's also the CGI Majora's Mask fan-made project that's just the most incredible thing known to mankind.
I think it was the IGN one, but because that one looked incredible as well, and that's
incredible
still up.
I know what one you're talking about. It is pretty good looking. I don't know, most incredible thing known to mankind.
Hey, hyperbole is a word that exists for a reason. Sometimes
I know, but it is really good. It is. If you guys haven't seen the Majora's Mask thing, it's very, very good.
And I mean, I that's like around when social media was a little less what it is now, because now it's insanely too much.
Still Link. I want to see
great.
Zelda pull the Master Sword. How about that? Take whatever context from that you want.
Subverted act. Oh, damn it. I was going to actually talk on it until you turned it into something weird.
What? It doesn't have to be weird. Where's your mind going? Get out of the gutter, Andres. Talk about Zelda.
I'm going to get more pizza.
What's wrong with Zelda pulling the Master Sword? I'm so confused.
Hey, he said he's going to go get more
Dude, his
pizza.
mind is, I don't know where he's going. I'm talking about Sword in the Stone incident here, and I don't know what he's talking about.
I don't think he's talking about pizza, first of all, but anyway. What he got going on in his house is his business. That's a grown man, y'all.
I'm so sorry to anyone else who calls in this. This is going off the rails. I love it.
We went off the rails once StreamYard did. So y'all, Nate and I, when we talked about this behind the scenes, I finally just said, you know what, Nate, we just gonna pray and wing it. This is what prayer and winging it looks
pray
like.
and wing it and don't test anything ever.
Yeah, never test anything. Don't. I mean, but I got off work late. So, oh wait, I'm still getting requests. Y'all are awesome. Like we seriously have like the best community. Like
Speaking of that, give me a shot. I got to super chat myself. Hold on.
Don't argue with me.
Are
you super chatting yourself again?
Well, I want to do a shot. If the rules are the rules.
No, just ask your twin brother who owns the island and everything. Just ask him.
Yeah, I did. I think he's sleeping. No.
Oh, okay.
I haven't been able to get a hold of him for like a month. I hope he didn't get like eaten up by a storm or something.
Well, chat. If of course Nate likes his shots. So if you all have any other questions, if you don't want to call in, please feel free to super chat. We love to talk about Zelda. That's really the only reason Andre is over here. He just likes to talk about Zelda.
I forgot this was happening.
He totally did. I reminded him yesterday, and he's like, "Oh, right, okay. Well, that changes my plans."
We're making it work. I made it work.
You did make it work, but I'm just like, I know I feel kind of bad. Like I probably should have reminded you a few days ago.
When we talked about it, I kind of assumed that this was going to be in place of the podcast for that week, and then you're like, "Oh, tomorrow."
No, it is definitely not a podcast replacement.
Yeah.
Now you see why.
Technical difficulties galore.
But this was also kind of a test run. We wanted to see how our community, Nate's community, I'm just a part of it, see how you guys would enjoy.
It'll be better ran the second time around, that's for sure.
It will be, because now we know kind of what to expect. And Andres is slowly eating his pizza for you all's delight. So really,
I don't know if I know what to expect.
This is just all for you guys.
Hey, by the way, when the cameras are set up the other way, it's less weird.
It really is, Nate. We look so much better. I look absolutely frightening. Or we'll just everybody just watch Andres eat his pizza. This is your PG-13 stream.
I can zoom you in even more if I need to.
Please don't.
See, I don't
this is so much better.
You see, I know that people think this is so much better. I'm going to explain why for me it is not. When you're watching on a phone, we're midgets.
Yes.
We shouldn't be midgets.
No.
We should be easily viewable. You got to think of the viewing experience for the
But
audience.
I have more room to sit to the side, and this way I have to sit this way, and it hurts my back. I'm old, Nate. Thank you.
Fine.
I just feel like it's disgusting showing me eat like right in front of the camera.
Actually, it really isn't.
No.
It'd be different
if you were someone that like devoured it in like 4 bites, not even like 2 bites.
Well, at least it'd be open quick.
And nobody's complaining. And nobody's complaining.
The smacking. Oh yeah.
You know, it's funny. Like,
I'd mute your microphone to be honest if that started happening.
Oh.
Hey, real quick, shout out to Natsu. I wore plaid just for him, and I expect my flowers and praise expeditiously.
Yeah, that's what you should be saying thank you. I'm just kidding.
Guys,
seriously,
if you pizza,
I didn't wear plaid today. It just was the shirt that was on top of my pile.
Andre's eating pizza. We're in plaid. I mean, Natsu, seriously, we did this just for you.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't want to ever hear the audience is not giving what they want.
Seriously, though. Seriously. Okay,
Hey, Nate,
guys.
I have a favor to ask you.
What's that?
Is it money?
Joyce is gonna be pissed.
Who's gonna be pissed?
Maybe you. You told me that you were gonna use that bingo prediction idea for one of your streams, and because you don't keep all your live streams up, I never got to watch it. But I do see that you left a whiteboard right behind you.
Sure do.
Could you go over it for me, please? Because I never got to hear about your bingo predictions.
I could just show it.
As long as I get to see it.
Yeah. I don't want to go over it all, but I can put it on screen.
Maybe for a minute. I guess
Just
Joyce,
so
the
we can
reason why
see
you would be upset because it's not all Zelda.
Like,
I assume.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not. No.
All right, so Zelda remaster. There's your Zelda. Duck Hunt 40. Is that like a NSO?
That was Paul's
99?
idea.
Oh, okay. Diddy Kong Racing returns. Love the name. New controller gimmick. Yeah, probably. New Pokemon Legends. I hope so. New Mario Kart. Is it coming out? Or is it in 2024? You dog. Mother 3 on NSO. Well, I believe it. New IP. Probably. I mean, maybe something small. I don't know. I don't know. But the thing is, there's so much things that can come out this year that I can see it happening next year instead. But yeah, maybe. New Star, bro. I mean, I guess you're only trying to get 5 of these right in a row. So okay, I feel you. Yeah. Top-down Zelda themes, menu music, Zelda movie cast reveal, 3 Mario release, new Kirby, Xenoblade Chronicles X. I don't know what the bottom 2 left, bottom left is Metroid Prime 4 shown. What's wrong with you? Bowser 3 comes to Switch 2. Why would you only show shown? Why would you? What? You're doing all these wild predictions, but Metroid Prime 4, you're like the conservative one. Oh, well, what made me see it? Smash, side-scrolling DK. Okay, I like it. All right, thank you for sharing with me.
I got a question, guys. Not only.
I appreciate that, buddy.
And guys, the bingo card is for all of 2024, right, Nate? So any of that could come out at any point in the year. Okay. Yep. So let's do one more.
Mad about Metroid Prime 4 only being shown. I'm like, he's gonna hate that. He's gonna hate that so much.
I was like, what? It's not that that's your a little bit. It's your prediction, but it's also that the prediction board is filled with so many. It's like it's filled with crazy stuff, but that's the one you're like, you know what? I'm gonna be really careful here.
It's because I want to get it's because no matter what, I want to get the Metroid Prime 4 point. I don't care if it doesn't come out this year, as long as they show it. I just want the point.
Right. I mean, you're right, regardless, as long as it gets shown.
Yeah, that's it.
It's a safety.
I mean, look, I could have did that with someone like the Smash Ball one. That's not actually like Smash coming this year. That's Smash Bros is announced for Switch 2 this year, and not coming this year.
Oh, I thought you were just pulling the Smash something, so it could be.
No, a new Smash Bros game announced, but not coming this year.
Okay.
They're giving us that pre-announcement like 2 years early, kind of thing.
Okay, guys.
They've done it before. I don't know if they'll do it again, but whatever.
Now, Nate's heard me say this before, so Andre, I would like your thoughts. And I think, unless anybody has anything else after this, I think we can kind of call it a night. But I want to know your thoughts. So, Andre, I don't know if you've ever heard my famous Zelda is not a damsel in distress rant. But yeah, but she's not, because we won feminism, I don't know how many years ago, before I was born, really. So here's the thing. I'm not into Zelda changing who she is for the main games. When it comes to Warriors games, okay, fine, do something different. But for the main games, how would we feel about us getting a constant 2 Legend of Zelda and a Legend of Link? Hear me out. So we get our traditional Legend of Zelda, Link's going through with the sword and everything, but then we also get the other side of the story, which would be Zelda. And maybe we don't fight the same way. Maybe we don't do things the same way. It's a completely different thing with with the abilities that she's known for. Actually, I think Zelda might even make a good assassin. but not necessarily swords and things of that nature. She's not that kind of hero. She's a different kind of hero.
Yeah, maybe
So
like
how do-
Kunai and
how do you-
Senbon.
Sararu? ¿Cómo?
Kunai and Senbon.
Who that is?
A kunai is a ninja weapon, as is a senbon.
Oh, I thought you were talking about a game.
Well, like a ninja dagger or like the little needles.
I know. Okay, now I know what you're talking about.
I think she uses senbon in Smash. Yeah. She also has
I
a
haven't
chain.
played enough Smash, so I can't tell you.
Well,
but I liked her with her pretty sword in the first Hyrule Warriors, the rapier sword or whatever it was called.
That is cool.
That was cool, but I appreciated it because it's not canon, so they could do something completely different. At least the first Hyrule Warriors wasn't. So if it's a Ruby's like, give me some pizza. But I'm saying, like, if we were, and so we have the story and we have Link's point of view, like we always have, but then we get same story, but it's all from Zelda's point of view, so we can kind of see the opposite side of everything, and we get to do things the way she would do things, and then it kind of brings the whole story together. I always thought that was interesting. Paul, of course, agrees with me because he's like me. He'll take anything Zelda. We're just happy about Zelda. And I know Nate and I've talked about this, but Andre, I'd be interested to hear what you have to say.
I mean, I definitely would love to see, Zelda have a game in some way. I don't think it would be like another open world adventure, right? Like, I don't think that's a realistic option. I think that's always going to be like Link's thing. But, maybe either offer pockets of gameplay within a mainline game where she's playable, or maybe spin-offs, right? Like, I mean, Retro Studios at one point was planning a, kind of like a Sheikah kind of game where someone like Sheik, something like that. And so, if they were to make a spinoff in the future, maybe it's based off Sheik, but Sheik is Zelda. And so that could be a thing. Like, I can see that. I don't see why that can't happen. If Princess Peach Showtime can happen, a Zelda game of some kind can totally happen.
We're going to add that to the petition, and we're going to put that in the Wii U Tech demo graphics. Good night, everybody.
Oh my God.
No, I'm kidding.
I mean, if it's smaller scale, it's very doable, even with a smaller team.
Yeah.
And I think it could work on the same map. It's just that we would have to see a very different side of it. So I think the challenge for the dev team would be, how do we use this same, it doesn't have to be Breath of the Wild or anything we've seen before. They could do this with the next set of Zelda games. How do we tell the story from these two different points of view and show two different sides of Hyrule? Maybe because she's undercover or something, nobody realizes she's the princess. She can kind of get into the underbelly of Hyrule or whatever. Because even though people are kind of flippant about Link, there's not a whole lot of crazy just disrespect unless somebody just doesn't like him for some reason. Like there's certain instances where the Zora don't like Hyrule, Twilight Princess, the Gorons don't like you for the first part of the game, that sort of thing. So I've always wanted to. So that I would like to play with. I just don't. It just bugs me as a woman. Yes, as a woman, it bugs me when people look at Zelda like she's this damsel in distress and nobody appreciates who she is and appreciates the friendship. She does a lot, but and then people don't appreciate the at least the friendship or camaraderie that she has with Link, and people want to make it seem like, well, she could do it herself. No, if I'm in trouble, I don't really care who or what you are. Come save my ass, okay? I'm not really concentrating on politics.
Yeah.
Just I'm glad you're here.
I'm gonna throw out this idea for you, right? So the Ocarina of Time remake theory?
Yes.
Well, a lot of like Nintendo remakes and remasters have like some sort of side adventure or epilogue story, right? Well, what if one they do for Ocarina of Time remake, if this happens, is Sheik's perspective. We don't see what Sheik does behind, off screen, but Sheik's doing a whole bunch of stuff. And
Take my money.
That's doable, right? And like Sheik also watches over Kakariko Village. Like maybe there's some sort of political thing going on there. Like, you can maybe touch on some of the Zelda, chess game, political chess game she has to play somewhat there too. Like you could do a little bit of that. that wouldn't be its own thing. It would be like a side thing, right? But so it wouldn't be all explored ad nauseum. But maybe a little bit. That would be. I honestly can see it, but I'm a crazy man.
Well, we're both crazy then, because I'm the one who proposed the question. Ari says, make a Zelda game where Link travels to the future. We got a few of them, don't we? Link travels, because Ocarina of Time, he travels to the future.
Time, I suppose. Yeah.
He goes to the past, he comes back, so that's future travel. But
And then Nate left us.
It's your
And then there were
podcast
two.
now.
I don't know how to do this.
You can't do anything.
I usually just show up in the chat and just say wild shit. I'm more tame on your streams.
Oh, that's great.
Okay. Streamlabs kicked you out.
No, it didn't kick me out. I bumped out, so I had the thing open, and my mouse back button bumped the side of my desk.
Oh.
And it was like, oh, we're out of here.
Oh, Ari clarified their question. She's saying, no, I mean a future like 20 years into the future. I don't see why not, because I don't see why not. I just would, if the story, if it made sense.
I got no problem with it. We always talk about the past or go to the past. I mean, dude, think of like the memories for Zelda and Tears of the Kingdom, how far in the past that was. Like, why not have this thing where we jump to the future?
So I got an idea for you guys. Ready?
Ready.
All right. So you know how I've told you guys about this idea of a Zelda game, right? Where you have the ancient part where it's so ancient, the plant life, the animals are ginormous. We're talking, the redwood forest big, redwood forest big, it's ginormous, right? And it feels very dangerous and wild, more wild than Breath of the Wild by a lot, right? But then you also have these cities that are encased in giant walls, very Attack of the Titan-esque, but it's not old time, it's futuristic style, like cyberpunk style almost. And so you have this ancient world filled with giant plant life and animals and some ruins scattered throughout, right? So you still can get a lot of that ancient Zelda stuff, but these also have the cyberpunk stuff. But let me kind of add another little angle to this. There is time travel going back to the future and the past, but this is where they flipped it on you. When you go back to the past, this is where you find the future cities. And when you go to the future, this is where you find the giant plant life and ancient stuff. So it's kind of subverting your expectations, because you would think when you go to the past, you would see the old stuff. When you go to the future, you'd think you would see the new stuff, but they flip it on its head, because Zelda has such a rich history, such a long history, that there have been advanced civilizations in the past, and there have been very archaic times in the future. Did you guys follow that, or was that too scatterbrained?
I follow.
I have to marinate on that. I like the idea, because I'm always about making Zelda fresh and new, so I'd be down for it. I guess in my own mind, I would love all the crazy ideas. I guess I just don't see how that would work for the entire fan base and gaming as a whole, because I could just see Nintendo laughing at both of us. But on the same note, I still think it's a good idea.
So I think my idea works, but the time travel part is just a funny little twist. That's probably where that's the part that would need to be more fleshed out. But just the idea of having two different styles of environment, one being futuristic, one being very ancient, and them being kind of separated, but within one giant world you can explore. I think that's something we could actually see, right? Introducing time travel where you're going back and forth. That's cool, but I guess how is that actually implemented into gameplay? And that's something that would have to be fleshed out a lot more. I mean, one interesting thing that I feel like people would have wanted is basically a portable time shift stone, right? In an entire open world map, which would require some extreme ambition with designing stuff, because then you have to design puzzles across the entire map to basically you have to make two maps and then overlay them, right? And then if you have to do it in a way where the puzzles make sense as well, right? If you want to just do it for looks, that's one thing, but it's more than just looks. It's about thinking about why even bother kind of going back to the future and the past all the time. So
And you know,
it'd
we
be
kind of got a
crazy.
taste of that in Skyward Sword with the
Right,
desert.
for a single dungeon.
And I was totally like, and
Amazing.
see, in my mind, when I was thinking with Tears of the Kingdom, I was thinking it would loop back around, and that's where the desert would end up being and things like that. I thought we would eventually kind of loop back around, and I mean, they still could, but I wanted to see more of what that ancient tech, because I actually felt bad for those little robots. Like, they had no idea that all that time had passed and they weren't where they thought they were, anymore. I actually felt bad for them, and they were so cute. Yeah, it's after 11. Y'all, old lady Joycie getting tired.
It's all
I
right.
want my cereal.
Hey, we got a member chat.
Oh, it's Michael. Phenomenous Michael.
Michael Lorenz II. How about if they remake Ocarina of Time, have a side quest for Sheik on how she gets to Link every time she meets up with him in the game?
I would so love
it.
that. I want to
Yeah.
know that.
That's
Peppa,
like
why
kind
is
of
you
one way they
following?
can do it. Yeah.
Yeah, why is you following me? Why do you always know where I am?
Stalker.
Seriously, Sheik is not only Zelda, she's also a stalker.
Just straight up stalker. Yeah, no,
Sheik's a
seriously,
stalker.
it's like a really big, like, how does she always know? Clearly she's creeping somewhere.
Like, I always wondered where Zelda and Impa went in Ocarina of Time. I always
Speak on it.
wondered, and it's just like, you don't know. They're just gone, right? Like, that's the truth, right? They're just gone. But like,
Yeah.
where did they run off to? Where did they hide away for 7 straight years?
And that's a really great question, because Kakariko is actually a little too small, even the little hiding places and everything, for the princess to hang out at. You know what I mean? For 7 years.
I mean, if I had to guess, somewhere around Kakariko it makes sense, just from a story perspective, right? Like, because Impa is the sage of that area, right? And then Sheik, right, which is Zelda, right? We do see in the lead up to the Spirit Temple, or the Shadow Temple, I mean, she does pay more attention to the Kakariko village, right? Like, she's dealing with the well and stuff like that. So she may have, in some sense, because Impa likely taught and raised her, right, in that 7-year span, she probably feels some type of way about Kakariko village more so than other areas. So, I mean, I think there's something to the idea of that's where they were probably were, but also, like, the town seems so small, you see no actual evidence of it in your experience of the game, and also it's right next to Hyrule Castle, like,
and then
That,
the other thing I was
it's
going to say,
weird.
one of the reasons I really like Sheik, especially after you find out the whole story and everything, it's just that I'm like, Sheik. You brought up a good point. Sheik probably had to raise her at that point, because
Impa.
Excuse me, Impa.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I'm tired. And because Zelda, I feel like that was where she was able to hone her powers, because she was able to, at the well, she was able to block Link from the shadow coming out and basically trying to eat him. Yeah, I'm tired because I'm not.
She gets ragdolled.
Yeah,
it'd be cool. It'd be cool. I mean, maybe the remake they could flesh things out a little bit, but we'll see.
That would be good. Or what if we got the Ocarina of Time remake and then we get Sheik's story?
Like, it's an epilogue thing in it, or like separate release.
Separate epilogue. I don't care. I still think that there's room even now to go back and answer some of those questions, because there's so many holes in the timeline, or in the whole series, that we can go back to a lot of things even today. I don't think because here's the thing. The very first Zelda that came out in 1986 is supposed to be later in the timeline, after Ocarina of Time, right? I think it's after.
The
it's
Fallen Hero timeline.
It's supposed to be story-wise after Ocarina of Time. So obviously graphics don't matter. So I think even now they can give us The Legend of Zelda Sheik, the story of Sheik. You know? And we could still do our whole what Ocarina of Time looked like and everything, but it's all from Sheik's point of view. Y'all don't understand how ham I would go. As soon as they announced it, I'm not pre-ordering it. I'm just sitting outside GameStop for 6 months.
2 years. Okay.
Yeah, 2 years,
That'd,
6 months.
That'd be
whatever.
cool. 6 months is realistic, actually. But
yeah,
I'll just put out this next game: The Legend of Zelda: Holes of the Timeline.
here we go.
And they're just a bunch of different stories.
Yeah, and but what's really cool is that you know how like Ultra Hand's like the big new physics mechanic ability in Tears of the Kingdom. In Holes of the Timeline, the big new tool or ability is like an ethereal shovel.
Holes of the Timeline. All right.
Forgive us, y'all. We so sleepy.
I think that's gonna do it. I'm just probably Gray's re-energizing right now. Anyways, thank you
I still
guys
got
for
dessert.
being here. I don't know when we'll do this again, but whenever we do it again, we'll obviously be much. We learned a lot tonight on how to do it right, so we'll make sure it's much smoother next time. You guys are awesome, and this is my last stream of the week, so I will catch you guys on Monday. Otherwise, just check out the videos. I don't know what Andres, you got a stream coming up at all over the weekend or not?
Unlikely.
And thank you, Jay, for one, trying to organize this.
Try it.
With people. And then two, I think you have something you want to say at the end?
I do. For any of you who want to see me, you know how awake I was at the beginning of the stream? If you want to see me awake, I am going to be hanging out with Mike Odyssey tomorrow on Nintopics podcast. Paul Gale will be hanging out with us as well. And we'll be talking more Nintendo goodness. So come see me over there tomorrow night.
All right, guys.
I'm going to bed.
Later, everyone.
Good night, guys. Thanks so much for being with us.